like the fact that everybody tuned in. They're online.
Yeah, we're good. Let me know how we're coming in.
It looks clear.
I'm sure it looks. I'm curious on that. Drop some 10s in the chat if we're looking okay, or sounding okay. Give me a 10 and a 10. Because I'm thinking we're coming in screeching. We'll see.
I'm gonna add solid in my sound.
All right.
Sound a little far away from the mic.
Okay, testing. You sound far away. Okay, who's that?
I don't have the mic. Hello? Okay, don't worry.
Wow, what is that? Who's talking?
Nobody right now.
Okay, so.
Well, if I said he could see us here. Nobody right now. We gotta talk one at a time. Or maybe I need a mic. I'm asking if you can hear me.
Okay.
Devontae, can you hear us? Hey, Devontae. Come on, say hey.
Keep switching. I'm just thinking.
Say yes.
I'm curious about the sound.
Say
You hear that? Oh, is that you guys bouncing off each other?
Maybe.
Can you turn one down real quick? See, I'm trying to.
You got yours up?
Turn one volume
No,
up.
I'll turn mine down. I'm still on this.
Okay, hit the lock button here. Here you go. Give us a sec, y'all. Give us a sec. I've been tussling with this technology all day, and you guys know how it is out here. We solid and nothing crazy. Okay. What if I did this? How's this? Still clear? Nothing crazy.
You can still
How's this? Still clear?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Now, y'all let me know if it starts screeching on y'all, okay? Because
Maybe a sound quality off and echoing.
still echo. Still echo. Because I'm hearing it clear. You still echo.
I'm asking right now.
So,
I don't think you should look at me because I was putting it down.
all right. Cool. All right. Let's see how that sounds. All right. Because if I have to, I'll just go Cool. Alright. So we should be straight. Y'all come in and give me some things and sign. You get a couple of things in the chat. I just want to be sure that the audio is okay. Y'all back to you. I feel like it sounds off. Quality great. Sound and audio. Great. All right. So. Liz. What testing? All right. So, I think that's, how's that? Is that too low? Is it high enough? What's up? So, I think that's, how's that? Is that too low? Oh, that's the noise in the background. All right, so we're going to have to roll with that. More than likely. All right, so hope y'all doing good out there. Man, hopefully y'all day's been going well. We got a storm that's rolling in here to Houston. What is it, Hurricane Daryl?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Daryl showing up, man. Knocking the doors and shit. So we probably not turn it down for a minute. Y'all let me know if if you guys are having hard times hearing him. For using secondary mics. But hopefully y'all are doing well. Hopefully y'all week has been great and y'all been able to accomplish a lot. Listen, we are here to talk about a few different topics. It's always important to talk about. And my thing is this, right? Whenever you discuss these particular topics, it's always good to understand, come from a place of a position of understanding and trying to understand where people are and what their process of thinking is, right? Or just being compassionate about what people are doing, what they're trying to do, what they're accomplishing. Okay, so volume very low. All right, but because we always want to shed a little bit of light on things so we can be able to understand it better. Because as we know, that light creates understanding. Understanding creates love. Love creates patience, and patience creates unity. So we need to get unified in the spirit, right? That's Malcolm X. In case y'all thought I wrote that, nah, those ain't my bars. Them ain't my bars. That's Malcolm X. So we good. All right. So either way, you know what the title is, and today, let's just go ahead. We're gonna get it ramped up here in the chat as well. So I want you guys to start off by introducing yourselves. Why don't we start with you?
Me?
Yes, Misha.
So I'm Chally.
Chally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From New York, born and raised, been in Houston for 8 years. I don't know. I think we're gonna have a little fun today. This podcast, just talking about.
Tell them a fun fact about yourself.
Ooh, a fun fact. I'm a mobile mixologist. So I go around Houston and we do different events, weddings, parties, graduations, whatever you can think of, whatever you need to drink at. Where you girl?
Put your plug in. What's the business name?
It is Taste of Finesse. That is taste of dot finesse on Instagram. Check us out. You know, we do mocktails. We don't only do alcohol. So if you are the type who doesn't like to drink, we have those as well.
All right. Okay. Absolutely. And my other special guest on it, same thing, introduce yourself, let them know where you're from, and special or something interesting about yourself.
Okay.
I'm Juana. You guys know me by now. I've been on a couple episodes, but I am from the Bronx, New York. This so happens to be my cousin. So, yeah, we're happy to be here. And a fun fact about me would be, since we're promoting businesses,
Period.
I am a full-time cosmetologist. And I am local within the Houston area, but I am also able to travel, and I specialize in bridal styling. So if you want to check me out, my business page is Street Beauty Hair. Go check me out. Go follow me. I'll follow back. Tell a friend.
That's on IG.
That's on IG.
That's on Instagram, y'all.
Yes.
I'm gonna start doing the thing where I'm linking you guys' IGs and all of that. So it'll pop up and they can easily find you. You know what I mean? So yeah, just put the plug in. That way people can see it. That's good. That's good. All right, so yeah, we're gonna be diving into a few topics, man. I got a few things, and I just really want you guys' perspective on. I want to know quite a bit, right? Because my thing is that I think that in the society that we currently live in today, you know, we need more and more voices out more than ever, just for the simple fact that there's a lot of information that's being put out there that's difficult for people to actually receive, to deal with on a mature level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you got cancel culture, you got all these other different facets that kind of silence people as to what they really want to express within themselves, which honestly, we never really been at that point till now in recent years. And you know, there's a certain boundary that you should never cross, like being disrespectful or disrespecting others based on their beliefs and where they're at currently. You know, and you should never really want to cross that boundary or that line unless they've already taken it there. You know what I'm saying? Then it's fair game. You know, we can go there. But also, I don't know if you guys heard of Brandon Jackson, guy who made the Single Moms song that went viral, shit went crazy. Listen, yeah, so you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Real talk? Okay, well, let's pull this up real quick. Yeah, you know, which the song, listen, the song's funny, right? And if anybody wanna even do the song it's a funny song, but I think it's more aimed towards women who are being, I guess, irresponsible in their decision making.
Okay.
And so that's what it's mostly there for. Not people who plan certain things and it just didn't happen. Very low. Okay, I wonder why. So sound is low. He's saying it's right now.
Put that mic on.
Cause I'm hearing it on your phone. It's like coming through.
That's your phone.
Oh, it's my phone.
Do you? But I hear him tweeting too. That was a while ago that he sent that message.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Devontae. Can you hear us? Devontae, can you hear us clearly? Solomon, can you hear us clearly?
You don't like my hair?
All right, so y'all tell me what's up, cause I'm getting some. I have to tune into my up to here. Okay, and where's that sound right now? It's coming in pretty clear on this end. So I'm curious. Let me try this. Okay. Because I'm getting a lot of back feed on this one. All right, so yeah, it seems like I'm coming in pretty clear.
Yeah, I think we fine.
Okay, all right, so yeah, let's pull this thing up. And so we're gonna go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about real quick. Yeah, I mean the song is what it is, right? the song is what it is, and like I said, he's went viral, right? This guy's went viral, um, based on this one song. So let's go ahead and here. Let me actually do it like this, right? So that way they don't do too much. Oh, let me just follow it. Yeah. All right.
Oh, I don't think
So.
that. No, the internet is watching. I think these girls, I feel like the date that they take you on defines the man that they.
But my question is this, right?
It's absolute BS. I
In
think that there's a woman that's looking for the bigger, better deal. That
what
has
you guys' experiences when it comes to
a lot of these
you sure you
dating
want
scams
to
that literally want to date every night just to be
yeah, so what do you guys' experience when it comes to dating and dating?
These men don't give money, they
Like,
give
what is
cash
your
these days. You
experience?
can't. So be grateful that you got to. And be grateful that a man put in enough
Why
effort to do
you guys
something.
make the choice to find so
Yeah, no cap. She ain't lying. Yeah, they should
why
definitely
you
be
guys
happy
make the
that a
decision
man put in enough effort.
to be single, after being with somebody and having children with them.
Well, for me, not from here, so I left. My daughter's father back
Exactly.
home.
What type of value did you bring?
New York, in Bronx. And, that was just my decision for me child to come out here and do some better life. More than wanted to stay in her life. That was his decision entirely.
That's what I think. I don't think the amount of money matters. I think that just
She's turning on business. This is fast.
it's free on Wednesday night.
Love it.
I would love that. Buy a bottle of water. Just get hot.
My own thought.
Whatever it may be, but that's because.
And just so y'all know,
out here trying to get to know a person for partnership in life.
doing a thing here and there. Yeah, keep going.
Exactly.
But, moving here,
I'm serious.
my perception of dating
All the way
changed
off.
a little bit. I guess I went from my daughter's father to woman. And it's always been a thing. It's just never been presented to me in a way that's been presented to me with dating with men. So
Sure.
but that's changed when I got here.
So that it's never been presented to you. So hold on, back up a little bit, because I'm trying to. All right.
Forget it.
What exactly? So it was never presented to you in which way?
Meaning, I've always been interested in women, but back home,
Okay.
it's kind of been more predominantly men because that's just what I was around.
Right.
When I got here, it was a little bit different.
Okay.
I'm not gonna talk about the whole experience with the transition, but
Yeah, you
I
want
decided to date women.
You decided to date like women or?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you considered a lesbian now?
I am considered lesbian.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't really like the terms and terminology, but I would prefer dealing with women. And that's been, I would say I've had my relationships when I started dating women. Not
Sure.
so much dating because it kind of just skyrocketed into a relationship. Now I'm dating and now it's a different experience. And I think that has something to do with just past relationships,
Right.
seeing how they went,
Okay.
seeing what issues we dealt with, and then just more so knowing now like what I want and what I don't want, what I will not even tolerate, but what I don't want. Like
Right.
this I know I don't want, so I just I don't want to deal with it. I know I don't want it.
Okay. Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel like you don't want men? What makes you feel that way?
The truth.
I'm just happier with a woman. Overall, like it's
Yeah.
a lot, but emotionally, vulnerably, like I just feel like I'm meant to be with a woman.
Okay. Like meant to be. So who? Okay. All right. Okay. And so in dating, when you made it here, what was your experience like when looking for another woman? Like when you was it pretty solid, or like were you finding some good home runs, or?
So I wasn't necessarily looking for. When I got here, I did date men, and it really wasn't anything that I wanted.
Yeah,
It wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't a bad experience. It was just an experience. It wasn't nothing more than that.
Okay.
So when I started first dating, I said to myself, like, this is something different. I don't know. This is something that I want to do, but okay. If someone is pursuing me, I'm gonna pursue them and give them my all. And that was an experience. And after that, it was just like, okay, I can kind of do this. I kind of like it here. It's soft. It's different. It's just different than being with a man. So I've been with women ever since, relationship wise.
So what is it like? What is it like? And we kind of. I want to pace this out a little bit, but I got so many questions about that. Like I've always had so many questions about that when it comes to it. But I don't really take an opportunity to like, hey, come here, let me talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, and if it is somebody who is interested in the things that you are, and I'm not coming from a judgmental point, but I'm coming from a place of looking for an understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to, because me as being heterosexual, man, right? I love women, so I understand that part, right? We got that in common. I love women. So, I understand what qualities I love about them. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get to that in a minute. So after you dated a few men, they weren't really giving what they supposed to have given, right? Man, who was these guys? First of all, I mean, like,
I think it matters.
Nobody
was it personality wise? Was the issue?
It was just honestly
like I mean, who are they like personality wise that turned you off from like the whole gender?
I don't think it was them turning me off. I think it was me more so
Walking in your truth.
No, just doing it because I can control what I can control with what I have. And I don't want to have a relationship like that. So
you couldn't control it before.
No, I could control.
She couldn't control men.
Right.
She has.
Okay, so you said like, okay, so the vajayjay, you can control them.
No, she's saying the opposite.
No.
Yes, that's what I mean.
And it just wasn't enough. Like.
Okay, so you had everything you needed because you just threw it on real quick and it gave you.
They weren't giving what they needed to give, even if I wanted to get there. And that's not what I want. So I kind of made the transition like, well.
You wanted a fair fight?
I mean, yes.
You wanted a fair fight. Okay.
I wanted one.
You didn't want all full control to be able to manipulate another person by using something. Okay, well, why not find a man who's mentally fortified, who doesn't live for that?
I think at that point I was just tired of looking for anything else within a man, and when when it was brought to my attention, like by a woman, like, hey, I like you, I don't want to pursue this and that. I was just like, okay, well, why won't I go for it? So I went for it. Yeah, and that was the start of that.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go. So I got plenty of questions there, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a lot of questions for you too. But yeah, so okay, so basically, so hold on, I'm gonna close you out real quick. So basically, it didn't go well for me when she moved here. The previous experience you had with the father of your children, of your child, how many?
One.
Just one.
Yeah.
Okay, boy, girl.
Girl.
Okay, all right. What's age?
13. She just turned 13.
13, so older. Okay. All right. So didn't work out with him. Relationship wise with him, what was that relationship like? Was he like somebody who was like submissive to you just based on, what you done to him? Like, was he submissive? Was he a little bit more assertive? Like, what type?
We were young, we were in a relationship, we weren't planning for a child, so it kind of just happened.
Okay.
When it did happen, it was like, okay, well, this is not what I want because I already have this experience, which I didn't know about. So it was just like, oh, okay, well, I'm a new mother. This is kind of what I want, and you know, regardless of either or not, I'm gonna go with my decision because at the end of the day, I have to deal with it.
Right.
It's gonna be me. It's gonna be mine, and I'm gonna take her wherever I need to take her. I gave the opportunity to be in her life. I didn't close it off.
Okay.
We don't have to be together. You can be be with whoever you are with, and we can still work something out. I'm not a bitter baby mom or any of that. You know, he had another kid, and to this day, after all the kinks were worked out, me and the mom are like this. His son and my daughter are brother and sister, and they are locked in, and you know that's what I really care about. Family at the end of the day. Him and I relationship was just what it was, and when I made my decisions to keep my child, you know, his. But even after that, I allowed him to be in her life, and you know, you fumble, you fumble.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna take that away from you. So, you know, my daughter was back and forth to New York, and if you want to see her, you can see her. Like I still speak with your sister and your family. I'm not gonna close it off.
Okay.
To this day.
All right. So you know, because you're over there, I just try to speak in a head voice. Try to just make sure you elevate your voice just a bit, just to make sure that they can hear you just fine. But I'm pretty sure they picked up audio pretty well because I can kind of see.
Okay.
So relationship was that, and then you came here, dated a few men, then you switched over to women because they showed interest, and you couldn't quite manipulate them as much. You noticed?
But I wasn't trying to manipulate them.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to. It was more soft. It was more easier. It was more
authentic.
Yes, and you know,
Genuine.
it was genuine. And it was mutual. Like women are soft.
What
Men
part
are
of it was genuine?
just how she cared for me.
Conversation.
Actions. How she cared for my daughter and took care of my daughter. You know, when we started dating. I don't introduce my daughter to men because I don't know if they're gonna be here. So why bother?
Okay.
You know, but having someone show up for you and they don't even know you, and having someone show up for your daughter and they don't even know her, it's like, okay, this is different. This is new. I've never had this before. And then having to do it without asking is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But it was a good experience. She raised my daughter since she was 9, and then we got here and she was 5. So it's just like, that's different. I'd rather take this over dealing with any male. And it wasn't so male or female. It was just, I talked to male because because they talk to men because they talk to me. If a woman would have talked to me a long time ago, maybe it would have been different, but I just wasn't in that space to try to bring a child and we talked to her with my mom. So it kind of just fell in my lap, kind of.
It kind of just.
It paved the way. Yep.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, that's understandable. Well, not by me, but by people who you explained it. You explained yourself clearly.
Yeah.
And in English.
I think that's a good reasoning. I never knew that about you. I never knew that was your reason.
What do you mean? You never knew what?
Even though she's my cousin, I never knew that was her reasoning for switching over or deciding to pursue that type of relationship.
About your daughter and the comfortability of being able to be around somebody.
And you know what? I didn't think of it at that moment.
Yeah.
But now that I think of it, it's like it's so much easier to allow your child to be around a woman versus a man.
Okay.
I feel like it's just not that
We're
safer.
gonna dive into that. I don't mean to cut you off.
Okay, no.
We gonna so my apologies, but we gonna dive into that because we getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
We gonna dive into that because I got a lot of questions about that stuff. Okay, and don't be offended because like I said, I'm coming from a place of understanding. I'm shedding some light. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get that. And so for you, like what dating experience and all of that there.
And what made me want to be single?
What made you choose that first, right? You don't have to go into a whole bunch of details if you don't want to. So what made you choose that? And then also after leaving, what was your experience in dating?
I wanted to be single because it felt like I was already single within that relationship. I just felt like a lot of the duties and things that I needed from my partner at the time weren't being fulfilled. And it's one thing for it not to be fulfilled momentarily, but for me not to feel heard or seen within the relationship means that it would never be fulfilled. It would just be on me, and I just didn't want that for my life. Could I have dealt with that? Yes. Because I feel like I'm very patient and I'm a very understanding person, but that can also be my downfall.
So what made you feel like you weren't being heard and seen? Like, was he like not making you, like, was he not feeding you properly, or was he like?
She knows firsthand.
You know.
I just feel like you gotta kind of like, you know, when you get them, you do so much to get them, and then you have them, and it's just like a lack of all those things.
Yeah.
I just feel like
Oh,
you
what
gotta kind
thing,
of
so?
oh, like we're going out to dinner and we're dating and we're
Okay, so courtship type.
yes, like
Yeah.
keep flowing when you're in a
Yeah.
relationship.
I realized that, but see, that wasn't my major issue with my ex because, I get it. People get comfortable, right? Because I got a little bit comfortable too.
Life happens.
Yeah, life happens.
Life gets involved.
I get when you're with one person for a while, it could be like it's just us, like, you know, all that stuff kind of dies down. But it was the zeal and the want to grow our family,
Okay.
and I guess I don't want to say being from New York, but just my attitude. I'm very ambitious. I'm very like fast forward, and I want to grow. I want to get past, like, in 5 years, I do want to see a change. I don't want to keep doing the same thing, because although I can be loyal to someone, I do get bored at the same time. And those don't that boredness and that idleness doesn't bring out the best qualities within me.
Right.
So
I agree.
so things have to
So
change.
being bored and being idle,
Mm-hmm.
you said qualities that bringing out the best qualities.
Mhm.
What are the worst qualities that it brings from you being bored and idle? What are the worst
I don't want to
qualities?
mention that on this podcast because I don't want to be judged for something that I'm not.
We're not judging.
Okay.
There's no judgment.
I seek out, I'm just going to say the truth. Then I start to seek out individuals that are like me,
Right.
That are like you.
outside
Like
the
men
relationship.
or men?
Right.
Men, for sure.
Seeking out men who feel neglected or feel like they're not being seen within a relationship.
No, none of those. Seek out men who are trying to advance
Who's
and
that.
want
Who
more
have
from their
ambition.
life. Yeah.
Okay, ambitious men. Okay, so you're so basically you're in that relationship or space, and then he's not being ambitious, right? And striving to be romantic with you.
Romantic, all of the above. He's not striving to be romantic and see where my headspace is.
Right.
He's not striving to be financially ambitious. He's not striving to be just a better him than he was yesterday.
So basically, what you're saying is we'll take on the ones who aren't there yet
Yeah.
to build them up.
Okay.
But why do we have to continue to build you up after this level?
Right.
I used to be that. I used to want to build them up from the ground up. I don't think you have to work on me, and now I'm gonna build me up.
Right.
What you gonna do while I'm doing that?
Right.
You can
Because
Okay.
at the end of the day, I have that within me. That's just who I am. So even if I'm at this plateau now, that's not,
That's not
I
what
can
I'm saying.
never just be content right here.
Okay.
Never.
So
Even when we become millionaires together, I'm still gonna be like, baby, how can we become billionaires?
okay, so that's your mindset. Like, what's the next level?
What's the next level?
Okay. So you would say in that particular space, you were looking for that next level, and he was not looking for the next level.
I'm not sure what he was looking for, but
Was that
it
a minor
seemed-
setback for a major comeback, or was
No,
it like just
no.
a setback?
Because, and I'm glad I have my cousin here because she's seen this relationship blossom from beginning to end. And at first it seemed like, thank you. At first it seemed like this was a great catch, but over time I realized he probably realized what kind of spirit I had on me, and that I was determined to win whether he was or not. And he kind of got comfortable within that space. And I mean, that's okay. And I think he's a good man, but just not the man for me.
Just not the man for you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, say he's a good man, just not the man for you. And lacking ambition and motivation.
Motivation, yeah. And when I'm talking about heterosexual or any relationship,
okay, all right,
I feel like you need a healthy balance. There's gonna be some days where I don't feel as motivated to do certain things as you may be, and that's your job to come in and be like, hey baby, we should get up and do this, we should work on this, or nah, you're not gonna miss work today, get up. And and then at
keeping
the end
you
of
on
the day,
track, or keeping you like focused on what needs to get done.
Right. And
okay.
At the end of the day, I can come back and say, you know what? I'm actually glad I went to the gym because you told me to. I'm actually glad I took that client when I could have just stayed at home because, someone that won't allow you to get in your own way.
Right, will allow you to just do what you got to do. And of course, it takes, from what we know, men typically are visionaries, right? They're creators. They see something, they do it, they build it, and they grow, right? And that's just kind of what men do. They're visual people. They're visuals. They're creators. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But also decisive in what most men, right? Men who should be decisive in what they feel they need to get done and do. Like, you just gotta know how to hold on to things like that. Like that type of quality, it's gotta be something that's second nature.
Exactly.
It can't be a quality that's necessarily taught or trained on.
Right.
It's mostly
within you.
Well, yeah, it has to be in you, but also because it could be in you and you could like fail to exercise it or use it, those qualities, because maybe you're tired. I don't know. You know what I mean? But
it has to be a part of you.
Right. It has to be something in you, right, to make you want to do it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so in that relationship space, he was lacking the motivation to take the family to the next level. And you had how many? You had children with him?
Yeah.
Okay. How many?
I have 2 children.
Okay, boy and girl?
Boy and girl.
Okay, what's the ages?
My eldest is 5. That's a girl, my firstborn. And my son is 2. Well, he just turned 3.
Okay.
All
right.
Shout out to my babies.
Yeah. And so after leaving, right? Once you left, did it flip a switch for him?
Oh, for sure it did.
Okay. It was a wake-up call, sort of?
Sort of. Because
Explain how it happened.
now all of a sudden, he has a business and he's doing different things. And I really had to pray about it, because, when you leave a situation, no matter how bad it is, you still mourn the relationship. So I had to think, man, was it me holding him back? Did he not just see me as the woman that was deserving of this? Or was it a wake-up call?
Was it a wake-up call?
So, I really thought about it, and I just come to realize that it's not my business to know what it was. I'm just happy that he was able to wake up and see that something has to change for his life. And it wasn't just the lack of motivation. It was a number of things. It was the betrayal that I went through within the relationship, because I had forgiven him for a number of things. But it was just the fact that we were just better off friends. And sometimes when you move too fast within something, you get a bad result. So, we were just better off as friends. And the biggest lessons that I took from that relationship are my relationship, are my children. Okay. And I get that sometimes people are in your life for a season. And I was, I came to terms with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, boom, you left, bomb, you out.
Yeah.
Bada boom. He gets motivated. He kind of does his thing. Do you feel like that you wish you was with him right now?
Hell no.
Why?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Absolutely
he
not.
Got business. He doing his thing.
And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him, and I want him to just support his children.
Okay. So okay, cool. So now, but you did mention this, right? You said that you start to seek out other men who seem to be or who are in the more motivated, more driven. Okay, so do you feel as though there was some infidelity there? You feel like that you were actually were involved with somebody else who, during that time who had the motivation,
Yeah. Okay. If I'm being honest, yes, I did seek out emotional support.
Emotional support. So
yes.
You wanted to talk to another man about what you're experiencing.
Yes, and not necessarily physical.
Yeah.
Because for a woman, it's different.
Yeah.
If I don't feel like you're hearing me, you're seeing me, you don't respect what I'm saying or what I'm suggesting.
Well, let's say this. Before we go dip out into seeking anything else on the outside, we express this to our partner.
Oh, plenty of times.
These are expressed. These are not things that are just
come out of nowhere.
And then we just decide to go branch off.
Right.
Right. What people fail to realize is when people say, "Oh, but you don't see how you got me here." That's the truth.
That's the real.
You got me here now. You didn't cause me to go branch out.
Okay. Go ahead.
But all these things that I asked for in you, I asked you for. So I told you exactly what I needed. I gave you the blueprint. It was up to you with what you were going to do with it. You didn't do anything with it. And yes, we should leave instead of doing the
branching out.
But it's hard. We all know that it's hard. We want to be in this relationship. We see the potential in this relationship. So we're not trying to leave.
That's the point. I wanted it to be him so bad.
Absolutely.
So
that
bad.
Potential, you can't go off that potential.
Yeah.
You can't go off that potential either.
Can't go off just potential alone.
No.
Okay. All right. And so nothing as far as when you first met this guy struck you as somebody who maybe I shouldn't be with.
Oh yeah,
or
for sure.
maybe potentially he could be a good man if I pour into him.
He had red flags.
So you saw potentially he could be a better man if I poured into him.
Yes.
Is what your thought was?
Because can I get personal?
That's what we're here for.
Okay. At first, this individual, he has 2 kids outside of our children, and he didn't really. I want to say he didn't have a strong relationship with them, but once I told him and I expressed to him that we were probably spending too much time, that he should spend more time with his children, it was like this, now when we're spending time with the kids. And my cousin knows this firsthand because we would go pick up her daughter. And his children and her daughter will spend weekends at my place. And, we would have a good time. And I seen him in this fatherly figure. And being pregnant at that time, it just made me feel like, wow, this is who I'm getting. Yeah, this is who I'm getting.
He already had children.
Yes. He had 2 kids outside of our 2. So it just made me feel he just needs a little bit of, enlightenment. Maybe he needed to be told that because no one in his corner is telling him how important these relationships with his children are. So, I started to, so I kind of overlooked the fact that these kids are 5 and 4 years old, and he hadn't tried to do that a long time ago. Girl, what are you tripping on? He's not trying to do that. I kind of overlooked that because for one, I had never dealt with a man that closely that had kids like within the same city as them. Because I dated another man with children, but they lived in another state. So that's kind of like, well, there's no way you're gonna see them every weekend,
right,
type thing. Okay. But there were definitely red flags, and I kind of overlooked them because he was so different than my ex was, because I only had like one serious relationship before him. So he was so different, and I just really truly felt like being pregnant so early with him, I felt like maybe I tried to make it work or tried to make it something that it really was, and I kind of blinded myself.
Okay.
Can y'all excuse me for a minute? Can the questions go on initially?
Why?
I just had to use the restroom.
You gotta go tinkle.
I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all enjoying it.
Need a potty break. I got questions. I got more questions. Okay, but first of all, before we even do anything, listen. This is the reason why, right? That men being involved in young ladies or women's dating life is pivotal. It's very important because as a man, I understand what a man looks like. I understand how to pick a man. I understand if a man is leading with strength, with power, or if he's going to be weak as fuck, right? Because I can look at him and tell. And men have that distinct instinct to be able to do so. You know what I'm saying? And, women tend to go based on their emotions, how they feel, rather than what truly is there. So like even though they might see some situations where, okay, I don't feel like he's going to protect me, they'll still give him an opportunity to grow from it, right? Whereas to where it would be unacceptable for a man to see another man who will not protect his daughter or protect his grandchildren or wouldn't just die, right? Because as men, that's exactly what we should be doing. Obviously, that's what we are designed to do. We're designed for battle. We're designed for war. As to where the woman is designed to be the nurturer, the ones who are to care for the home, who to be sure to keep the man in good health, but they also are warriors too. They have to be. But we don't. But I'm gonna keep it real. Women are very strong. They're very, valuable pieces to use. But, of course, to overcome and outpower men is just something that can't be done. But there's opportunities if you're able to be well trained as a woman to be able to defend yourself and defend the house. But you should be the last resort. There's no way in hell I'm finna be letting nobody tell me to go and take the children and hide in the closet while some woman goes and protect and defend my life. That right there, my nuts is all the way off, right? All up in the purse. But that's just me. Same thing, when you have that mindset to send your woman out to work while you stay home, you're doing the same thing. It's the same exact thing. You're sending her out to the world to where she has to protect and defend you and allow you to stay home with the children and hide. As men, we should be out here conquering Earth. Excuse my language, right? We should be out here conquering Earth. You should be driven to do what you have to do and doing what it takes to get it done, right? Using the right skills to be able to think about what you need to accomplish. So, my thing is this, right? I really wanted to learn more about cars. This was a few years ago. I really wanted to learn more about cars, right? Because there's situations where a vehicle would have issues with rotors or whatever. We got to take it to a shop, pay $200 to $500 for the shop to do it. At the time, I'm not going to be trying to drop that much money on things. So I'm like, what I did was I bought an old Buick Rendezvous. Had some issues with the engine, had some engine problems. I pulled apart that whole engine, fixed just about everything, cylinder heads, rocker arms, all that stuff, coolant hoses, everything. Just went front and back. Radiator replaced. I even did the rotors, but by the end of everything, I knew so much more that I took apart at least an engine at least a couple more times after that. So it was just like, you know, having that vision and saying, you know what, this is something that I need to do. This is something that's got to be done, and I gotta learn how to do it. That's how you gain skills as a man. This is how you continue to have your testosterone pumping and flowing properly. Is if you find new challenges and you overcome those challenges and you conquer. That's just kind of what we're designed to do. So she ran from the questioning. It was getting too thick.
Don't say it.
She said she had the tinkle. All right, so it's okay. All right, so it's fair enough to say, right? That where's that percentage? 20%. Okay, yeah, you can plug it up. You can unplug that. You don't even have to use that. You can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's cool. All right. So, and the reason why I said all what I just said now again is because, you know, we got Chally here who's saying, man, she all she had to do was throw it on him, and it was manipulation all day long. It's like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like, not the guys that I deal with, I don't know, we're too much impressed with that. You know what I mean? But it just depends on who you deal with, what man you deal with. And hold on. Stop, pause. That's not gonna work.
It's gonna push. No,
it's gonna pull that down. You see what I'm saying? All right, you got another sitting fork? Yeah, try that. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, men. That's not all men. Most men are not even most. I wouldn't even say most. There's men that I don't necessarily deal with. Well, you know, I got a couple buddies who is kind of got their balls in the purse. Mm-hmm. But majority of men, no, we don't do balls in the purse. We don't do the whole, you know, just because of whatever that you get to control, manipulate, or do anything. You know, I'm not about that. Not only, you know, am I not about it, but there's other men that I know that's not.
There are men out there who, you know, fit the dynamic and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. For me, they just weren't giving anything. I wasn't trying to have to build nobody up. I was just over that. Like, you know, I gotta work on me. I gotta build me up. Who's gonna build me up? Just me while I'm building you up? That's
I think
where the work
you know
what? Yes, but I didn't say that. I said it was me building you up, me building me up. So who's gonna build me up?
Yeah, so
it was no, we're gonna build each other up.
How did you attract those type of men?
I listen. You know how they say, "Oh, is this the type of men you pick?" Uh-huh. Okay, I guess it is. Well, then I won't pick men
at all.
Well, damn. How about you change the things that make you attracted to them? Maybe ruling out a few things.
I think that's kind of hard to say.
A little more selective.
Because men are
that takes a lot of work.
I can't change nobody's perspective on how they view women or what type of woman they want. Mm-hmm. That is what the type of woman you want. And I've dealt with people who don't even, I'm not even the type of woman they want, and they still do it. So what does it say about that? But, you know, it's...
Oh, and they still dealt with you even though you're not the type? Oh, okay, they just wanted to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So what about if I just wanted to hit? Is that a problem? Well, that's when the stereotype comes in. That's not a conversation I'm about to have. I don't care. I think women or men should do what they want to do sexually if they want to do that. But you also have to have a mindset of this is what it's going to be and that's it. Right. Men don't expect women to have that mindset, and when we do have that mindset, it's a problem when we get, you know, the backlash, the names, and all of this.
Oh, okay. Right. So you guys had that understanding, both.
It was more so.
And he wanted more.
No, nobody wanted more at the time. It was more just a generic thing, and then it was like, okay, well, nobody had this conversation of what we can offer each other, or you know what we can move forward with. So what are we even doing? I don't want that. I don't want to be here in the moment. Like, what are we building for? What are we doing? What's going? None of that was ever discussed. Because some men don't, you know, that's not where they want to go. They just want the circus, and that's what you're gonna get.
Well, I mean,
some.
It's interesting.
I think it was the time you were dating too. That was 8 years ago. 8 years ago, we weren't looking for it.
I mean,
well, I can't say that's true because you had your daughter 8 years ago.
But it's it's when I got here, I didn't think about relationships.
How old were you?
I was 24.
Okay.
All I was concerned about is getting my house, my car, and my child, and all of us together by 25.
And what age range were you looking for men? Like around the same age?
When I came here, I was dating them, but
Around the same age.
Mhm.
Because typically those men are still pursuing their bag, they still chasing their money.
Exactly.
So typically they ain't got their shit together at all. Usually in their 30s, possibly.
Right.
Morally in their 30s, they'll be.
Right.
So you're dating men who are not necessarily available for you in the capacity that you were looking for.
Right.
But they weren't going to be. Like, based on statistics, based on data, men typically reach their peak at around 35.
35 and up.
Right. So really, if you wanted to be safe or impressed with a man and his drive, then he would have to been in that age range for
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying?
And I think for me, I was just kind of
Ready to
over it. Yeah.
Okay.
So when the opportunity was presented to me, I thought about it. I took it. And I never looked back. I don't regret it.
Yeah.
It's not a regrettable moment.
Okay.
I don't hate men. I just choose not to date them.
Good. So you're not a feminist.
No, I don't hate men. I mean,
Yeah.
Don't you still have a crush on one man?
I was gonna say, so I'm very so attracted to men, but not in a way where I want to pursue them. Like, oh, this man is handsome.
Okay.
This man got his shit together. This man looks good. But it never gives me, oh, I'm gonna date this man. No, he look good. And I'll say that about a woman. She look good. He look good. Like, they look good. That's all that it is. So.
Wouldn't that make you like bisexual?
No.
Because you wouldn't.
Because I think bisexual, you have to physically deal with the man. I would never physically.
Ever?
Now, unless, there's that time where, okay, we want kids together and there's no science involved or there's no woman involved, maybe that. But as far as just dealing with the man, off the strength of dealing with the man, no.
Okay. Right. Okay.
No.
And so what is it that a woman gives to you? What is the quality that a woman gives to you that a man can't?
I'm gonna say that softness.
What does that mean? Like
It
softness.
means more like I've dealt with women and it hasn't been the best, but I will say that we comprehend more.
What we feel,
Right.
because we can understand firsthand.
Yeah, it's more about understanding and just like, okay, we can get through this. It's not an argument. It's not a.
Sounds like a good friend.
It is like it is, and I just feel like with men, it's more detached. And I honestly, and with women or men, I feel like it comes from the household.
Okay.
Straight back to the household. How's the relationship with your mom? How's the relationship with your dad? How's the relationship with your family in general?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's race or it's sexuality. I feel like it's what happens in the household for you to be this way. And how you treat women, how you treat men, how you treat kids, how whatever. I think all that plays a big part. And people don't really stem to that because they're not trying to get that deep.
Yeah.
But I always refer back to parents.
Okay, what's the relationship like?
If you calling your mother by her name, you probably don't have a good relationship with your mom, and you probably have some mommy issues.
Yeah.
If your dad wasn't there, you probably have some daddy issues. But that's not all of it, because my dad's been there. I don't have daddy issues,
Okay.
but I feel like I have other issues, and my mom's been there, but it's like I've been treated this way, or I felt like I've been treated this way.
You were treated well by your father, but not your mother?
I wouldn't say not by my mother. I would say my dad had more
Stability.
He just gave me more attention than my mom.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that kind of challenges the position on certain things with, dating women. Because, like, if your father was the one who kind of gave you that more of the attention, more of the presence, and it wasn't a woman, it was a man.
It was a man.
who's there for you. But
it's not about gender, it's about who gives that attention.
I
At the end of the day.
I feel like it is kind of about gender because I feel like yes, I'm a daddy's girl, but I'm also my daughter's father, and I know how mine.
so you're your daughter's father.
I'm
I'm my father's daughter.
yes.
You're your
I'm
father's
my
daughter.
father's daughter.
Okay.
So I feel like
Okay.
some of his.
So I'm gonna ask you a serious question. All right. So do you think, just looking back at some of those things, your mother and the role that she played, do you feel as though that you might be looking for certain things from a woman just based on your mother
No.
and how she may have treated you? So you might be looking for love from a woman or affection from a woman just based on that.
No.
I mean, you got it from your father.
I've gotten it from my father.
You don't need to worry about a man's affection and love, but your mother didn't quite get you what you were looking for. So a woman who could give that thing to you that you felt you deserved, right, from your mother, and did you see that I don't know, that makes
I don't think it correlated for me.
okay.
My mom did not give me love. She gave it to me. She gave me attention when necessary. I didn't feel like she paid full attention. I don't think that had nothing to do with my relationships with women.
Okay.
I feel like I've seen my dad do his thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I did my thing. And that's how I'm my father's daughter.
I agree with that.
You did this thing. What's the thing?
He did.
It's a trying
Okay.
Me around women, and I didn't like this one or I didn't like that one, whatever the case is.
So you
kind of pick up on that.
okay. So
but that never changed my perspective or anything. Like, it's weird to say, my parents, I've never seen them together because my mom was married to my stepdad, but my dad and my mom had a relationship like this, and they still do to this day. So I'm able to see that. Whatever issues they had was their issues, but I was always able to see love in the family, whether they were together or not.
that's good.
So I'm very family oriented. So when I see that people can overcome things and come together, that's where my mindset comes from. This is what I want for my family, regardless of anything. So just like to say, my daughter's father had a son before we had our daughter, and I didn't know about it in the beginning, but once I learned about it, it was just so okay.
Yeah,
And
we're
there's
family.
options.
Yeah,
Like I'm not about to argue with.
It was an acceptance.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's cool. Yeah, for sure.
On the one part, it wasn't in the beginning. But we
And your
found
daughters?
on the mother of the other kid.
Okay.
But-
She don't mind.
We like this.
Okay.
Because I made sure I did what I needed to do to get us like this. Because regardless of him,
So
we
now
do
you-
have
Our
our
daughter.
kids.
Exactly.
I don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
He
It's
can
not
say
about
that.
y'all. It's
not
about the kids.
So that's how I am. So I think I kind of see everything more so like optimistic. Like, yeah, this is what they say, this is how it goes, but that's not how I want it to go.
You're right.
It doesn't have to go like that.
It doesn't have to go that
It
way.
doesn't have to go that way. I can change whatever I want to change. It's my life.
Exactly.
I was
For sure.
born into this.
You're right.
Okay.
I can change whatever I need to change. So.
I got you. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, well, hey, so it don't really correlate. They don't, which is good. And then, and so when you're dealing with, okay. So
Get the ass.
yeah, I'm just thinking about wording this right appropriately. Right. So, all right. So you've been doing. How long have you been like in this relationship space?
Dating women?
Yeah.
Since 2017.
Okay, since 2017. So that's been a few years. You still got an attraction to men. You still find them to be attractive.
They are still attractive, yes.
Okay, just not sexually.
Not sexual.
Okay, so you don't never think like, dang, I need me some eggplant.
Nah.
Like, damn, people need some eggplant.
Never.
Because here's the thing, right? You can always go out and buy a toy Lamborghini, right? I mean, they look the same. I mean, you probably might get the same feeling about it. But like, it's totally different from what a real Lamborghini can get you. Like, you can feel the roar of the engine. You can feel the strength of the motor. You know what I'm saying? You can feel the life within it, rather than. So I don't know. Do you guys use like toys or things
Yes,
like that?
there's that there.
Okay, and then you guys do this strap on thing.
Mhm.
Okay, and so so I'll just picture the room smelling like latex, like.
I mean, you know what? So you know what I'm saying? Like,
But you know, rubber. Okay. You at a NASCAR track meet. That's something. You feel me? Like.
first of all,
Yeah.
the experience is different because
Okay.
intimacy doesn't just mean
Intimacy.
sex.
Like, okay, so intimacy, like just like the
Wrestling,
spiritual connection
Yeah.
between the person.
Right. So, intimacy doesn't just mean sex. So,
Okay.
yeah, there's a real one and yeah, there's a fake one. What does the real one give you that the fake one doesn't? Problems. No, I'm just kidding. But, no, honestly, like, for me, and I'm just speaking for me, it's more of a connection with a person.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be in the mindset that I can do this and
Be detached.
be detached.
Yeah, sex is a game.
I'm just doing
And
it
be
because
detached.
I can control it.
So wait. So you said like a spiritual emotional connection, but you don't want that emotional connection, spiritual connection?
No, that's what I'm
You
saying.
don't want to bond?
With men, it was just more of a control thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Okay.
get you to do this and do that with this.
Oh, get them to submit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With the
Okay.
woman, it's more like our connections intertwine. Like, this is what we feel because we really can't feel. You know what I'm saying? So this is more on a deeper level. It's more on an intimacy level. Like, if we didn't have this tool right here, what would we be doing? What would we be feeling? It's different than dealing with a man. You're just getting that. You can get more.
Do you feel like
Depending
it's
on
because
what you
your imagination is included in everything?
No.
Or-
Because I know for a fact that that's detachable.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's not always going to be there.
Right. So it has to be more
It has to be attached
to get you there.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. I can't enjoy what I'm enjoying without that connection. Without the
Emotional
emotional,
connection.
Yeah.
physical,
So that
all of the above. I feel like it's very different. Like, and now I don't care for that at all. So it's like now
care for what? Penis?
for the attachables.
Okay. Strap
For
on.
the attachables, it's just like,
Okay.
well, now I don't care for that. What else do they have to bring to the table? And it's just still so much fun. And it's still, because we are women at the end of the day, like,
Okay.
you know.
That's interesting. So, like, my thing is this, right? If a woman, of course, a woman doesn't have a penis, so your initial objective, rather than saying, "Let me actually dissect this man for who he is, and I want to build that emotional connection with him," your primary objective would say, "Okay, I see who he is. He's acting like a macho man. I'm gonna control you with this thing." Or he's a man. I'm gonna see what's up if I can manipulate control.
That wasn't really how it started. It was just more so like
Mm-hmm.
I think
us
that's
talking.
something that happens and you feeling the person out.
I think I mean honestly, like a man gonna tell you what he wants and what he don't.
Mhm.
He is.
Okay.
And it's up to you to, do I want to deal with this or do I want to deal with that? And that's with honestly anybody. So I feel like, okay, this is what you're bringing to the table. Well, this is what I'm going to bring to the table. And this is what it's going to be. Like, I'm not here to change your mind because I'm just not into that anymore. If this is what you want, this is what you want. It may not be, it's just going to be temporary. That's what we agree on. Or it's, okay, this is where I'm at, but I want to, grow up to here. And it's just so like, do I want to deal with that, or do I want to, have to feel like I need to change your mindset on things? Like, it really just depends on the person.
Depends on the person. Okay. All right. I mean, because reason why I say that is because with a woman who does not have a penis, right? You almost are forced to have that spiritual connection with them because you want to be aroused.
Right.
You want to feel that connection with the individual because you want to feel like what you guys are going to do is something that you really want to do, and then that's how you get to that point of having that spiritual and just bond or connection with each other, because that's just kind of how it is, like special arousal. But like, you know, for some men, of course, it can be very detached, and it can be I don't want to build. Me personally, I spiritual connection, things like that, that's very important to me.
Okay.
Now, as far as like, you know, being aroused sexually based on just certain things, I mean, I think anybody can have an instinct to want to involve themselves with someone sexually, but like if it's a continued thing, I don't think that they would want to continue in that, right? I think that most people are looking for that, that bond, that connection.
Yeah.
Who haven't been raised to be kind of like immoral about their sexual behavior, right? Jumping from one female to the next, you know, and typically they come from their own trauma in that, which, you know, of course, that's something different. But yeah, it's just a lot of those things there. I'm like, okay, well, I hear that. Like, okay, well, I can understand. Like, you have no choice. You got to. Which that's my thing. That's my thoughts, right? You have no other choice. You really got to in order to really be able to, you know what I mean?
Make it sick.
But I've never been, you know. So my thing is this, right? Is that with men who don't think on that level, you know, like who think on a more spiritual connection, like that's what really gets them excited. That's what does it for them, right? They prefer that. That's preferred. They want to know who you are to build a connection, emotional bond with you. Or I'm just okay. So I'm breaking it down. So as a man who's like that, who's looking for that emotional connection, is that something that is
frowned upon?
No, like that is like an exception. Like, okay, well, he's actually wanting this or desiring this.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I didn't get there.
Okay.
That question for her.
She's
So
not
maybe-
trying to explore that.
So maybe it's the choices. Maybe it's the selection of guys who you may have dealt with that made you feel this way, or made you kind of.
It may have been that way, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I also, again, I wouldn't say that, you know, anybody did anything wrong, but I think I was just in a headspace where like, okay, it's time for a change. I know that I do, you know, enjoy women and I'm intrigued by women, so why not pursue that? And that's just what it is.
Okay.
It wasn't like a specific guy made me hate guys. I don't hate guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'll be trying to figure out.
Beautiful,
Like
no.
who, you know? Okay.
You know, men are still beautiful. I still love little baby and Rick Ross. It's all got mine. But
Okay.
it's just like, you know, it's not for me. No. I can
Yeah.
still love Chris Brown and not want to sleep with him.
But
I
be
can
with him.
still, you know, like, I still love who I love and just don't physically feel attracted to them anymore. And
Right.
That's okay.
Are you spiritual? What's your belief system?
Spiritual, I believe in God. You know, I feel like I definitely am praying more. I do think that prayer works. I don't require that from anybody, though everybody's different.
What if I told you that the Most High or God, typically your prayers are much stronger with a male covering, just based on his way of structure and order? What if I told you, like, you know, you, I guess, not desiring that male counterpart, that your prayers wouldn't be as received?
I don't believe it.
No, not at all. Okay, so what if I were to say that in spirituality, right? Because I don't know what you're probably not a Christian.
Why not?
She is a Christian.
Why are you a Christian?
Oh, see, I can't get into all of that. That's
But because here's my thoughts, right? Christianity is probably one of the most destructive religious systems that have been created.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because they've sold you a bill of good that's just not cashable.
Right.
Like you can't really take it to the bank, but you can definitely feel good holding on to it. You feel what I'm saying?
I do. I feel like for me, it's not that deep. I feel like for me, it was just felt like this is where I went to church with my family. This is where I respect going, and that's where I'm gonna continue going. I mean, honestly, it's not that deep to me. I grew up in a Christian church. I went, with my grandmother and stuff, and now I'm going to a Baptist church. I mean, God is God all around for me. For me, I don't do it by the Christians. I don't do it by the Catholics. None of that. I'm not that spiritual. Like what I feel like, I haven't been to church since my grandmother passed. And when I did start going, I found love in the church that was Baptist, and I was just like, well, I enjoy this. I love this. It's good for me.
Was it the music?
It wasn't. That's the crazy thing. It was not. It was turn off the music. Y'all gotta stop singing. It was the word.
Okay.
And the word by the pastor was
touching.
It was just more of our decade and our age group. I feel like Gorilla Avenue Baptist. That's where it's at. And I feel like he's amazing at what he does. And for us to relate to it in our age now, I feel like it does hold some weight.
So does he preach like prosperity, or is he preaching like the conviction or anything like that?
Everything, I feel like, but I also feel like it's more to the younger crowd. Like he makes sure we understand verbally by saying certain things or by what's going on in today's world and stuff like that. Like, not to say, but when everything happened with the people on the boat and how we came down and how everybody just got into a
you talking about the brawl?
I'm talking about the brawl.
What's it called again? Yeah, well, they came. Yeah. That's for sure.
He got a chair up on there on the screen because don't mess with us. But it's just like that. He's relating to his younger crowd outside of everybody else, and I feel like they don't always do that, which is fine. But I like the more traditional. I like the untraditional churches. Is what I will say because we can relate to it.
I have a question
for me.
For you, yes. Just out of curiosity. Would you be offended if, like, a family member wanted you to be delivered by Christ and to live life the traditional way?
I wouldn't be offended. I can't give you that. I'm sorry. That's just not the way I live my life. You gotta respect that. Or
It's respect.
But that's just me.
Right.
You can't kind of tell me how to live my life. Everybody's
because everybody's at their own pace. Everybody's doing their own thing, and then my thing is that being judgmental but also being honest is cool because you plant seeds sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And my thing is that wherever you're at, you're at. And I got another saying that I like to hang on to is those who are convinced against their will are of the same opinion still.
Sure.
So you got to be in a position to be willing to be convinced.
Right.
And if they're not, then you can't be received. It's also a play off of Jesus or Yeshua when he says to not cast your pearls before the swine, or do not give that which is holy unto dogs. He was actually talking to a woman who wanted him to go and heal his daughter or her daughter. And so, in which he told her that. And then he called her a dog, right? What's a dog? What's a female dog?
You know what?
Well, there you go. He kept it real.
Yeah.
Jesus kept it real. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But this person that Christianity sells you is something that's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the person that Christianity sells you, the Jesus that they sell you, is a little different because he seems so goddamn soft. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who can really admire a man who's that weak? But it's like he was never like that, and you have to have a better understanding of that, right? So understanding that when it comes to I guess Christianity. Things like that. That's something totally different. That's why I guess that's the reason why that I say that Christianity is pretty destructive because it does mislead or misguide people into believing certain things they probably should subscribe to. Right. So spirituality and spirituality. But okay, that's good. That's good. All right, so okay, cool. So with this particular thing, would you ever like in the future? Because we all change our minds. We all have a change of heart. We all grow as people. We start to develop things and whatever. How would you feel if you were asked to, like, or would? How do you said that you've been in a sort of a poly space before? Are you familiar with it?
So I'm familiar with it. How I feel about it now, I mean, I'm still open to it. I'm very open to things because I feel like in a dating aspect, I feel like one person can't give you all that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I feel like that is because I feel like it may just be personal to me that nobody has checked all my boxes off.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke with a friend recently, and she's the one that said that nobody can give you all that you need. And I'm like, they kind of can if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to,
If they're willing.
if they're willing, because you're gonna do
Work hard.
You're gonna do it for who you want to do it for.
Yeah, it's possible.
So I don't think it's something that's foreign. I just think it's the right person. There were things in my past relationship that I was not accustomed to doing, so I was kind of more rebellious about it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I see that same situation in a different light. It's like if your partner is requiring you to do these things, why won't you, take accountability for it and kind of
Work on
work
it. Mm-hmm.
So I do think that people can do things that you want them to do based off how they want to do it. But people have to stop feeling like you're telling them they have to change themselves.
It has to
for
be
you to do it.
their idea. Mm-hmm.
I mean, not necessarily because the idea that was given to me I didn't agree with. But now I agree with it 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that I had to be in,
Mm-hmm.
something that I had to feel uncomfortable about, and then be like, oh, okay, this is actually what I like and enjoy and require. Now, how can I instill it in my next partner if they don't have it without them making it feel like I'm telling them what to do or to change?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing. People think that you tell them you have to change because I require this. It's not necessarily changing yourself, but it's tweaking a couple of things and to make you a better person, to make the situation better,
Mm-hmm.
To make things run smoother, whatever the case is. I think people have to take it in a different perspective, not more so. It does count on how you see things,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to also be willing to do so. I don't think if you have that willingness, you're kind of gonna think it more defensively.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be an argument.
I also think it depends on the person telling you. If you don't really trust that person, it sounds like
Okay, so the person is telling you. Go ahead.
To me, from my own experience, if I'm not really into you that much, I'm probably not gonna.
You can't make me do anything. The person,
Yeah, you can't make me do anything.
Shit.
No.
Okay, you got no respect for the person. Then
Yeah. And that's kind of why I really don't, just piggybacking off of poly, I don't really understand that space fully because I feel like there is one woman for one man. And I feel like sometimes in those spaces, when it's the man looking for the poly relationship, he just hasn't met that woman that has wowed him or made him think like, wow, she's probably capable of fulfilling most of my needs. And I really don't need to add another addition into this relationship. And that's okay, right?
It is.
Because in today's age, you're not gonna, well, any day, you're probably not gonna meet a woman that can fulfill all your needs. And I think, or a man, I think it's the willingness and the discipline and the self-control that makes you like, that makes you a stronger person and makes you.
Sure, but
I got
Okay.
things to say too.
It makes you a stronger person because it's like I can commit to this person. I have self-control. I can see it through and commit to this space and feel like, yeah.
I just feel like for me, like it's like I forgot what I was gonna say. I feel like for me it's more so I don't know. So I feel like okay, for me, and this could be just the space that I'm in right now, I feel like one person can't give me everything I need.
Right. But you have to be willing to tolerate what they can't
But I don't want to tolerate. That's the problem. I don't want to tolerate. And I don't want them to tolerate me.
Yeah.
If we're tolerating each other,
is a tough word.
If we're tolerating each other, we're not.
That means you're not happy.
I just feel like if I was to do poly, it's because I'm too aggressive for you, so you need that softness.
Right.
Get that softness from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I need this fun. You're not giving me the fun. Let's get this fun from somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just feel like that is an option because the person is not willing to give or change or do certain things that the person wants them to do.
So do you feel like poly is selfish, or you feel like poly is actually where it's at?
I feel like it can give what one is looking for that the other is not giving at that moment. Mm-hmm. Not saying the other is not willing to, but sometimes people are not willing to give that, and it's like, okay, well, I gotta make up for this in other areas? And it's not cheating if you have a poly relationship.
Right.
It's just like, this is what this person gives me, and this is what this person gives me. I don't want that because there's too many emotions involved. But I feel like in a dating sense, it's kind of a poly relationship.
So we have a question from Lavish Barber. She says, "Are you willing to miss out on the 70% chasing that 30?" Lavish, can you go into detail on what you mean by that?
Yeah.
Chasing the 30.
What 30 am I chasing?
Right.
Or what's the 70? So
and who was that question for, Lavish? I kind of have an idea, but we just want to be clear here.
All right. So while he's doing that, right, and we left off with talking about the situation with polygamy. Okay, so from Dawn.
To be specific, we're gonna say polygyny. Because polygamous is when a woman and a man can date multiple partners. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think what our host here is supporting this is polygyny.
Yeah,
which is when a man can have more than one wife.
Right. Yeah. I can't speak on that.
Right. Mm-hmm. I know. But that's what I was speaking on.
You're saying basically that you have multiple women.
For the strength of pretty much one person not willing to give what the other person's looking for.
Okay.
So if I'm dating someone and she likes to be inside the house, like to be outside.
Yeah.
I can compromise with being inside, but can you compromise with being outside? If you feel like outside is too much for you, and I'm requiring that.
Okay.
Because you're an outgoing person.
I'm not outgoing. I probably want to seek someone who
can do it.
Is okay with being outside.
So you're okay with poly within your sexuality? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say this, right? Let's say that you tomorrow, boom, hypothetically speaking, you have 3 other women that you're dating. Mm-hmm. They all know about each other. They're totally fine with everything. Mm-hmm. Let's say that you guys decide to move in with each other. Let's put you all in one house with children, right? Mm-hmm. Possibly. Just you have one and 13, and let's say that another one has 2. One that's 5, one that's 8. Who's leading that house?
Who's leading? I don't know.
Masculine, female? Is she the one leading? How would that household look?
For me, with other kids involved, honestly, I feel like it will be
a community.
Yep. Because it takes a community. It takes a village to raise a child. I feel like everybody will be hands-on. I don't do the whole control. You should take care of me because you're predominantly masculine. I don't do that. I've always been 50-50, even with a man. I'm not gonna get into that, but I've always been 50-50. I'm very independent. You take this, you take that, I take this, and you take that. It's across the board, everybody's work.
Okay.
It's not just based on one person. I mean, now
So,
if
like,
you found
you
the
did.
trash, you may have to do that, but I'll go clean the bathroom.
So not one person being in
Not
charge.
one person being in
So
charge.
by committee, like by unanimous decision.
Yes.
Have you ever seen like the wild shows, like like they're survival?
Oh yeah, I saw those.
Okay, yeah. And then have you seen the one where they put men? It was all men. They put a group of men on one island and told them to go survive, and they put a group of women on the other island and told them to go survive. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Well, this is what happened. The group of men got there, and once they got there, they formed what you would call a tribe, right? And they had one person to give and dictate orders amongst the men.
Okay.
And they were there. They ate every night. They were just having a great time. It was just like they were just on a guy's trip, and you wouldn't be able to see any difference. Like listen, they had a great. Listen, I wanted to be when they got there. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's how much fun they was having. It was fantastic. Like honestly, tell you the truth, they had everything built within a couple hours. They had the whole infrastructure done. They had all the little teepees built. They were out hunting. They had food ready. They were ready. But then once you go over to the other side of the island with the women, but you got prepared contracts.
Yeah.
Go on the other side of the other with the women on the other side of the island. They chose to do a ruling by committee, meaning we all vote to see who did what. Needless to say that they were absolutely miserable. They couldn't properly build shelter. They couldn't properly hunt for food. They couldn't properly execute anything because they were too busy worried about each other. And they didn't have the strength to be able to do so, right? They wasted too much time talking, too much time debating, too much time whether to go left or right, very indecisive, and wind up the crew members who were recording all of this, and they're not supposed to get involved, they had to feed them. These are men who were recording. They had to go and feed them. They had to go and help them. They went and hunt, and they put stuff out for them so they can go find it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They cook it. But they were miserable. They couldn't do anything. So that was a prime example as to ruling by committee never truly guided a ship effectively. Like that whole group of women literally didn't make it. They wouldn't have survived unless the men who were holding cameras helped them survive. And the men on the other side of the island was just balling. You get what I'm saying? Cleaning food all the time.
What the woman looked like?
Yeah.
Oh,
And you know another thing though? Another point, I'm sorry to cut you off, but there has been single mothers and single women from as long as I remember. And that being said, I don't know if those women were strong enough.
No, they were capable. They were capable.
I don't know that to be fact. You know why?
Well, I'm gonna say this, based on their skill set, based on what they do on a day-to-day basis, a lot of them were very capable of hunting, gathering, things like that.
But you know what?
Ruling by committee.
But let me say this. It maybe those women needed more time. But I feel like
Let me tell you what it was. I'm gonna tell you what it was.
Done.
When they first got there, it was a debate. It was a conversation.
Okay.
Women do like to talk. They like to understand. This is the reason why you get the question why. I say, hey, go left. Why? Boom, you're dead, right? You're like that's just kind of what they like to understand. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? That's the reason why once they got there, it was just conversation, debate. What should we do? How should we do it? What's most important? Who's going to do what? Who's going to be in charge of what? Nobody's in charge of anything. We're going to really vote on everything. Okay, we're going to vote. But the conversation took too long. Sundown comes. Once it starts to rain, it's hard to build fire.
Right.
Once you get that and there's a slew, let's say you get a week around, you can't really build fire if you're too busy trying.
Right.
So the guys who hit land, you got the most skills, you got the most knowledge, you're in charge.
But I didn't say it wasn't going to be that. Now, I said it takes a village, but I also want my village to be capable to do what they need to do based on what they can do. So if you can do this, you're going to do this. If you can do this, you're going to do this. I'm more strong over here, so I'm going to do this.
But who's in charge? Who's leading the ship? Who's saying, hey, I see that you're doing this over here. I know you're good at what you do, but you fucking up a little bit. Put a pause on it, let me help you. You feel me? Somebody got to say something. Somebody gotta tell them.
Designate me, but I will designate me because I'm more of the
Certain type of person. Okay, all right. And then the searcher. But let's say that these women understand that you're a woman, they're a woman, and they see that there is no real physical difference as far as strength, capabilities, power, things like that, and they feel like they want to challenge you. They feel like they want to get out. They feel like, you know what? Whatever. It's cool. They don't even want to listen to you.
You would never know that situation until you're in it.
Let's say that a man came along. Let's make this easy to even. Okay. A man came along. He kicks in the door to your house. You and your women are there. Y'all chilling, your kid. Boom. Who's going to address the threat? Who's going to be the one to go put their life? How many three women? I
don't think it's a person. I think it's all of us.
All of you. You're going to take on one man. Let's say this one man is very dangerous. He's armed. Let's say he has a knife.
Ooh, we got guns.
Well, let's say that you guys, because listen, women will rely on cameras more than they would rely on firearms. Most of them. I can expect a woman to have camera system before they'll have a gun. Okay. Because of the fact that they feel like the guns are bad. I'm not saying to shoot. I'm just saying.
But what action will they get into during the circumstances? Do you know that we would do? I do, because you know how much we are willing to protect our children.
Right.
So yeah, we may not like guns and we may not have them in the house, but every other thing will be a weapon when it comes to somebody. I do not.
No, we don't. But we own tasers. We have door stoppers.
Okay. So let's say it's a man and you're currently in your current state, no firearms that you own, none of the women own the firearms. This man comes through, boom, big dude, you feel me? Look like goddamn Shaq. You feel me? He wants everything, including he wants to violate all of y'all.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have 3 women against him.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And then y'all gonna go after it, butcher knives, all kind of stuff.
Even as a heterosexual female, I feel like if I was in the house with her, and as my cousin, and I think we could take him on.
Oh, you think you can? Big guy.
I don't know if we can defeat him. I'm not saying we can defeat him, but I can feel. I don't know if we can defeat him, but I do feel like it would be a fair fight.
You think so?
He's not getting out of your life.
Yeah,
that's for me. That's for me. Like whatever it takes is what it's gonna take in that moment.
Right.
With firearms, no firearms, we get our ass whipped.
Right.
But we're
not gonna be able to fight.
That's just an instinct.
Yeah.
It's a woman's instinct.
Yeah.
It's a mother's instinct.
Yeah.
And nobody's trained in.
Nobody's trained in nothing.
Combat or anything. These persons are trained in boxing.
We're trained in survival.
So let's say this. Let's say a guy like me, right, comes there, trained boxing, trained Muay Thai, comes in there, 3 women untrained.
You gonna whip our ass.
I'm whooping all 3 of y'all.
But you're not gonna.
Yeah, you're not gonna. Yeah.
I'm gonna make it out alive.
No, I don't know about that.
Oh no.
Okay. I mean, but what I'm saying is this, right? Because I've taken punches from men, full, strong men, whatever. You know what I mean? Did I eat them? Yeah, I ate that shit. It was
nothing. You're just gonna underestimate us in every way, and I love to underestimate. But keep it up.
No. Women are very, very capable. Women are very capable, and I know that women are very strong. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that you're more safe or more protected with a man who you love and trust. And the reason why I say that is because, if another man comes through the door, it's an automatic understanding who's addressing the threat. There is no deciding, hey, we all got to band together, decisions that you got to make. You automatically, instantly decide that man's going to address it, then get the children, run to the back. We already know what to do.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
you get what I'm saying?
Where I dated a woman, and I felt more safe with a smaller woman than a bigger woman. And it's just like, how do I feel more safe with this smaller woman? Right. Just because she was just willing to do what it takes, versus the other woman had a lot to lose and she just wasn't more of a confrontational person. So
I wasn't willing.
So that woman was more aggressive and willing to.
And then it wasn't that she was more aggressive, she was just more willing to take care of what she needed to take care of if it had to. And, you know, I respect that woman more than the other woman because it's just like, why am I getting up and, you know, pursuing a whole male?
Yeah.
You
but
know?
I mean, people are good talkers, right?
I was going to say that.
Because she might be little and capable.
Yeah.
She's little and capable with talking, but she also pack a punch.
So she like a chihuahua, you know, big bark.
Chihuahua.
Big bark.
She may look like a chihuahua, but
Okay.
she got a Rottweiler or pit bull bark. So she's definitely gonna take it there if she needs to.
Okay, so she's vocal. She's very vocal. Okay, well, hey, you know, my thing is this, right? When I address somebody who's a threat and it's another man or any other individual, I'm mostly more concerned about the person who's quiet or calm. Because that's the person who I know that I have to really be focused on.
She's not barking in a sense, a chihuahua is, but he will be loud when he needs to be because she's small. So it looks like it gives off that chihuahua effect. But she's only going to speak when she needs to, and she's only going to address the issue when it needs to be addressed.
And I'm destroying all the time. She's through. But what I'm saying is that I can't think that even her as being aggressive or a woman who's a trained woman may have an advantage in a way against a man who may not be trained and he also is not a fit man, meaning he's weak, meaning he doesn't go to the gym and work on himself. He's just a little guy, right? And even then she's going to struggle and she's trying. You get what I'm saying? And that's the reason why my mindset is the way it is. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying, because if you look at other cultures, they will put it on display. Here in the U.S., of course, you're going to see all of these superhero women who are taking on fully grown men and whooping their ass on screen, right? But when you go across the pond, you're not going to see any of that.
Right.
Like, if I were to pull up a video right now and show you Chinese people, there's a woman who's a bodybuilder, very stocky, very strong, against a guy who's probably a gamer. You know, he's kind of got a dad bod.
Yeah. I
absolutely pinned her. She couldn't even move. But she's a lifter. This guy don't even go to the gym.
Right.
But this is the reason why I make that.
Do you ever think that's like propaganda?
No. Propaganda, like it was like intentional?
Yeah.
No, not at all. The reason why I say that it's not that way is because reality and perception are two totally different things. Like you can perceive what is truth and then this is what is true, right? And the truth is that no matter what the woman, a physical sheer strength of a man cannot compare. A woman can't compare to that, right? No matter how strong she gets, she might be stronger than the basic little guy, right? But ultimately, she's gonna always have men who are far stronger than her, even though she might lift just as much in the weight room. You know, because we have natural strength, and then there's weightlifting strength.
Right.
Two totally different things, and let's not even add in fight or flight, instinct, adrenaline, things that like that picks a man all the way to his highest potential physically. It's a woman has a hard time with being able to match that, even three.
Right.
Because I promise you, 3 women, I'm walking in there and I'm walking out. They probably not, but I will. Not to say that I would be doing that, but to say, hypothetically speaking, if that was the case, I'm walking out, they're not.
Okay.
No matter how many bruises I got, scratches, whatever. Yeah, I'm walking out of there.
But my thing is, how often in life, to challenge you a bit, how often in life do you see that as a man within a relationship, or if we're thinking about, you know, the relationship style of female with female, how often do you see in life that you actually have to protect your partner in that way?
Protect her from harm? I mean, it doesn't happen or occur often, but sometimes when a man gets out of line of being rude with my woman or with me, then of course I'm not going to be the one to step down. So that happens though. You get more of a man being rude or being disrespectful to your woman than actually trying to be physically violent towards her.
Right. So in that moment, does it ultimately result to violence, or is that something you can
because
talk
men
about?
understand each other. Men understand if you're a threat. Men understand if they have to show you some respect. So, you know, if they're being disrespectful, cutting in line or doing certain things, you with your lady and he's cutting in line or he's doing certain things, that you got to be a man to step up and say, hey, bro, nah. A man will take one good look at you and be like, either it's time to go or it's a no-go. You get what I'm saying? And if it's this frail, little weak ass dude who's speaking timid, he gonna look at him like, man, if you don't get the fuck out of my face. You get what I'm saying? But if it's a guy who can step to him and be like, hey bro, hey yeah, we was already up here, man. You gonna have to go ahead and hit your back. He gonna be like, oh, my fault, bro. You know, I'm whatever. You get what I'm saying? Or he gonna have some shit to say and we got problems. But either way, he gonna know if he got a threat. You get what I'm saying? Men know who to try. It's a mutual respect. You get what I'm saying? So,
but I also think that respect exists even when men realize that it's two women together. Right. Because men have a certain respect for women, even if they play the role of being more of a I'm gonna say this without being offensive, more of a tomboy role or stud role. I feel like the average man will still, make sense of it and be like, these are still women, and allow it to be some sort of peace or, just step down, because at the end of the day, these are still women at heart, and, you're the male, so maybe you should just step in the back of the line and let these two women go. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, on her behalf, because I am heterosexual, and say this again, just speaking on her behalf, I feel like you don't really encounter those type of situations, because when you come into contact with real men, they gonna respect you because you're a woman, and they know that no matter how much you try to mask.
It's not if you have a dress and you got your fucking see-through shit on.
That's not true.
Got your ass hanging out. I'm not respecting you. Look.
No, that's not true. You're gonna have common courtesy.
Me personally, because I was raised different. But I wouldn't be totally disrespectful, but I won't have as much respect. I'll be asking some certain questions that I wouldn't ask a woman who's more modest in dress. I wouldn't ask her questions that I would ask a woman who's out there, who's putting herself out there. In fact, I wouldn't even give you a time of day.
We're talking about skipping the line. We're not talking about anything more than that. So if you realize that you may have skipped these women who are dressed like Megan Thee Stallion and Sexy Red, and you're in the room, and they come to you and say, "Hey, you skipped us. We were meant to be where you are." You're telling me you're gonna say, "Bitch, fuck you"?
I'm not gonna say it like that.
But that's what you're saying.
But I might find attractive in that way because she's not as out there like a Sexy Red or whatever. But first of all, I'm not that type of guy.
Even if that's what I'm saying.
Even
if they came to you and say, "Hey, excuse me," if they because you wouldn't skip the line in the first place.
Let's say I gave my last shit years ago, right? Let's say that I'm that guy. I'm that guy who don't give a shit. I'm skipping lines, and if you ain't somebody who's qualified, and if you ain't even qualified, then yeah, man, get on. I skipped you for a reason because you're not qualified to even talk to me.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But if you respectable, I wouldn't even go there. But let's say, like I said, I gave my last shit.
Happen in the first place.
Let's say if it happened and you're respectable and you're modest in apparel and it happened, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I ain't even see you there.
But
what's your name is?
What's
up, Chally?
That's crazy.
What's good, Chally? What's your name? I'll probably skip you just to holler at you. Just to talk to you.
Okay, well then say that. But how didn't you see me there if I'm someone you respect? Bro said
I'm deaf skipping lines. Hey, yes, sir. Definitely, yeah. You already know it. Deaf skipping lines. What did you say? If you didn't see it.
If you didn't, how do you respect me if you didn't see me there? That means you noticed me.
I did it on purpose so you have a reason to talk to me. And as soon as you talk to me,
then you shoot your shot. Yeah.
What's your name?
That's trash.
What's your name is though? What's up? What's good? No, but you know, it just really depends because it's like it is what it is.
Not if they shoot you, bro.
Damn. Over a line skip? Bro, get shot over a line.
No,
That's crazy.
I know, but
That's crazy.
you have a point because
shot over
bullets, you can't compare with this. So if you encounter someone, male or female, if I feel like as a female I can take you on as a man and I want to physically fight you, if you pull out a gun, I'm retreating, right? At the end of the day. And I feel like as a man, you will be smart to retreat too. Because, of course.
Oh, okay, damn, I ain't smart enough then. Because I done had that happen to me and I just looked him dead in his eyes.
Well, see, that may be true, but women have a lot more passion and we don't really think rationally. So you gonna trust a woman with a gun in her hand? You gonna take
it. But you know, my thing is that I think different. My thought process is different. I know that I got an Elohim that's on my side who's protecting me, but it's like my thing is that it's hard. He said, but this is what he told me. He said that whom shall I fear? If he's walking with me, who should I fear? Whom should I be afraid of? He told me to fear not men, but fear him who Elohim moves.
You know, so shoot me, I'm gonna survive, baby.
But that's just the thing, though. So when you walk by that and you have that mindset, it's difficult for you to look at a situation and feel fear. Now, you know, my thing is that he says, of course, no, you can't fight bullets. You can't fight anything. Yes, it does come down to certain things, but I've seen punk ass dudes who have a gun take out some of the biggest guys who got so much respect because he's a respectful man. And my thing is they're cowards. You know what I'm saying? Because we you know, if we live by the old, listen, fists, well, I would love to just shoot a fair one with you any day. That way we both walking away from this thing. If I take my ass whooping, I'll take my ass whooping. And then we might be cool as hell after that. And I miss those times where men were able to actually do things like that. Because some of the best friends that I knew came from or was bred from me even picking on them and we fighting, right? And are them messing with me and we fighting. And then we're next thing you know, we're friends to this day. Years. You know what I'm saying? In the game. Where men were actually real men. So no, of course not. It's not about the biggest, strongest dude or anything like that. It's not about any of those things because all of them can be taken out at a certain point at any time. But it is about protection, about your family, protecting yourself and your family. And men who value that more and walk within that power and strength more are the ones who are more capable. They get more respected. The women love them more. You know what I'm saying? Like men respect them more, walk with them more, and will be more than willing to follow them to the grave based on. You can trust them. Yeah. And this is how generals in the army were able to lead. You know what I'm saying? It's because they were willing to die. They were willing to face death and go to the grave. So.
Well, Jody made a good point in our comment.
What do you say? What Jody say?
She says.
Oh, what she say?
I believe Jody is a female. She says, I'm 6'2", 240 masculine woman, and 8 times out of 10, I'm losing a fight with a man of the same size.
And she's absolutely right. That's logically thought. And she said that I sound sexist, didn't she?
Well, I think that
a little bit sexist.
A little bit, but I feel like at the end of the day, you have to choose your battles, right?
You do.
And if you can talk things out, that still puts you in a position of control. Because because if I can talk you down and get the same result, why not do that?
Right. There's always peace before war. Yeah. So if I got my family with me, or my wife and my children with me, I'm gonna always look for a peaceful resolution first, because I don't want them in harm's way, and I don't want them in danger. So I try to de-escalate the situation as much as possible by using intellect. People who cannot speak and can't articulate a sentence, they typically violent. Typically more violent because they don't have it there. So let me clarify that. I don't go straight to goddamn, violence. It literally, even though that man may be at violence, I'm still going to be calm, cool, collected. We're gonna have a conversation first, and then if somebody gotta get their ass whooped, then it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? But let's try to peacefully work this thing out first. You know?
Yeah, so I feel like that intellect is a form of protection.
It is, because we both know where we can go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand what I can do to somebody, and I also understand what somebody can do to me. And, you know, with that understanding, I don't want to do anything to nobody. I don't have a desire.
Right. That's not your goal and your mission.
But I would rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
True.
I'd much rather.
You want to be qualified.
Yeah. I want to be able to, you know, go toe to toe if I got to. You feel me? Put them on their head. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. So, but that type of thought process is what makes the society what it is. And I was gonna say, because we were talking about polygyny, but my thing is that, you know, from the dawn of beginning of times, like I said, in any situation, when men went out to war, they had a wife at the house, at the back home. They got a wife. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about times where, of course, we got, you know, back in the 1800s or whatever. They got a wife, and they feel like it's monogamous. You get what I'm saying? So I'm using quotations because obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. But they feel like it's a monogamous thing. But when men went off to war, they took on war brides, meaning they're having sex with women as they go and conquer certain cities. Mm-hmm. And even though they say and claim monogamy, don't mean that it was monogamous, because it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Even then. And it's still, to this day, it's still a culture that's like that as well. Even when they go into different battles, it's still a war bride type situation that happens. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but most of the time, my thing is this, right? Most people who are in relationships don't know that they're in that relationship or that style of relationship because they're never honest with each other. So, and that's just, I don't understand why monogamous people say they're monogamous, because the majority of them aren't. They just not. They're not monogamous people. They don't have that culture. Why? Because they sneak and do things. And it is what it is.
I agree. People do sneak and do things and then want to say it's whatever else. This topic really ain't working.
Oh, well, you know what?
Yeah.
So you don't ever deal with cheating or anything in?
Yes, I have.
Within your relationships,
yes.
Do women cheat?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I think it's more emotional.
I mean, 95% or more, you feel me, if you're not the father, obviously says it.
I mean, I think cheating is all aspects of things, not just physical.
Like talking.
Yeah.
Okay, stuff like that.
Because I've had, you know,
Emotional
in the past due to that. But I think at that point, if y'all don't have anything else emotionally to get, y'all need to separate. And sometimes the separation may bring back different things, but just let it go. Because it's going to do more damage than to just do it on the side for both of you, mentally, and everything, you know, within both parties. So I feel like if you're not getting what you need from this person, to other person, you're not getting it. If you try to allow them to give it to you and they're not doing it, then you gotta part ways. Like, so then you're settling and you're doing things like this. I'm bowing out soon. I got somewhere to be, but I am. But I do feel like 74.
Okay.
But I do feel like yes, women do cheat, physically and emotionally, but more it was emotionally for me. It was definitely
for the same.
But it still sucks.
Yeah, it sucks that you have to.
So you still will get the same thing, same behavior from a man, from a woman, but the only difference is you're saying that the connection, the emotional connection is the same. But she literally would do like the same type of behavior.
I'm not saying for me. I'm not splitting their personalities. I'm talking about solely on women.
Okay, so women have cheated on you before?
No, I've cheated on
you. You cheated on women before, and these women also lesbian. Mm-hmm. So they kind of So what's the escape? Like what are we running from men?
We are running from unemotionally available people. We are running from emotionally stable people. We are running from narcissists. We are running from people who don't have a relationship with their family to know even how to
be a family
navigate
within
a family sense or things like that. That's the type of person I'm dealing with if I kind of branch out into the, or I'm dealing with someone who's easily manipulative by parents or by siblings or by their family in general. Like people who can persuade you to do this versus the person you're dating. So it just depends on the situation and the person.
And that's like an absolute, or is that like percentage?
It's conditional, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
just speaking as a woman, because I think she's not talking about gender based. She's talking about if it was anybody. If I had these issues within it, and I felt like you weren't willing to work on that, then I am gonna seek it outside. Whether you're male or female.
Whether or not.
And I think the reason why we are so close is because when we were in these long relationships, we kind of were doing the same thing at the same time. And we could kind of relate to one another.
Like, what else do we need or what else do we want that we're not getting?
Exactly.
Looking
from it.
From whoever we're with.
I was with a man, she was with a woman. And we were dealing with the same
issue?
No, not we were doing the same thing.
Yes.
We were speaking
doing the same thing.
We were speaking something more from outside.
Because the partner currently was not giving you.
It wasn't fulfilling. And I think piggybacking and having to use each other as like excuses and stuff like that. We're not back.
Oh boy.
It kind of made us
It's a cover for the
it made us grow closer because it's like, bitch.
But it also made us think about like this is not
and we had to come to each other. We had to come to each other. She came to me a lot of times. She's like, Juana,
stop.
You need to stop.
Because it's not.
And I'm like, do I need to stop?
Yes.
Should I just end it?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah.
And I get better advice.
Yeah. At the same time, she wasn't ending.
I get
So,
better advice.
Yeah.
But I feel like one thing I'm gonna do is hold my family, my friends accountable.
Yeah.
Regardless of the situation, I can see where you're coming from.
Jody said we're fighting for our lives.
We're not.
They fighting for their life.
I just don't think that. See, I'm willing to put up with a lot.
I'm not anymore.
No, like.
I'll say that.
Okay, I'll take that in heed too. I don't know if I am anymore, but I was willing to put up with a lot as long as I seen a little bit of effort. Just a little effort, maybe a lot. I don't know what sort of effort I was looking for.
I was more so getting like, oh, you have to do this for me to do this, and I was just like,
no. Why can't you just do it?
Why can't you just do it? Because I asked you to do it. So that in my last relationship, it was more so I got to see you do this for me to act this way, or I got to see me act this way for you to act this way.
And that's
if we want to do it, we want to do it.
Yeah.
You either want to do it or you don't. Because I'm not going to keep having to tell you, and I'm not going to keep having to step out for you to do these things. It's either you're going to do it or you won't. Somebody else will.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what it is. And
that's tough.
You know, it's tough.
It is,
but
tough.
it's you know in your mind that this person wants to do this for you because they want to.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to come in and clean and cook and all of this for you because I wasn't feeling you like that.
Right.
But this next person I did it
Thought
for.
I was feeling no.
This next person I did it for with no effort about it.
Exactly.
And I was like,
that was that guy. That was like, well, I can't say God for you, but that was that great moment. That was that. Yeah.
It
He was him, or she was her.
it was a thrill.
Okay.
All of it's a thrill.
All of it's a thrill.
Yeah. It's a thrill until it's not.
And where I am, if it's not a thrill with my man, then it ain't there.
Yeah,
It ain't there.
Oh boy.
It ain't
Fuck
there.
that 30 days, you out of there in 10.
See, this is what I'm saying. So
I don't have
I had a discussion with someone about 30 days.
I don't have a
And-
thing with the 30 days because honestly, it took me 2 weeks.
Thank you.
I'm gonna know if I
Thank you. If I fuck with you or
I'm
not.
gonna know. I don't
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It takes 12 years to know a person. True.
It does.
But that's
But I'm
not
not sure if I fuck with you or not.
if I don't
Well, you can make a determination on that, but like actual establishment of feelings
I know.
and like a actual, I mean, you can bond with somebody a bit, but I'm saying like on a certain level, there's a beginning level that you kind of infatuation stage. It's a, you feel me?
Stage is not a honeymoon stage. That shit is real.
That's
And
real.
infatuation be real.
Infatuation leads to
Legit.
love.
I
I don't want to hear it. I don't
have led to love. I don't lie. It was love at one point
Mm-hmm.
for me, but then it wasn't. Because then it was just give me what I need for me, and me saying give me what I need for me, and nobody was doing what we needed to do for each other because it was just so one-sided. Give me what I need for me, and give me what I need for me. That's all it was. It wasn't like I'm gonna give this for you.
But are you sure it was give me what I need or give me what I want?
A little bit of both. In my past relationship, a little bit of both. It was more so like.
So what I'm getting from all of this, right, is that a lot of it is coming from, and I know you gotta go soon, so I'm gonna respect your time.
Thank you.
But a lot of this is stemming from a lot of different emotions. Not that it necessarily was completely thought out and logical and thought like, you know, because if I can say like, of course, with Juana, like the whole thing is just based on what you may feel during that time. Even as it's 2 weeks in, you feel me? During that time, you may feel some way, but that could be impulsive, right? You know what I'm
Very
saying?
impulsive.
It could be something.
Very impulsive.
But I do agree, but it can be very impulsive if I know that it ain't gonna work also.
What was your
And
name?
yeah,
I just can feel it.
That's not gonna work.
I
I
just
just know that it's not gonna work.
Not that it's not gonna work. I could just feel the potential of what things are gonna be, and I'm not gonna invest as much into it. That's just
both
me.
impulsive. They're both based on
impulsive.
For me.
And I know it takes time for people to get certain places to really see who they blossom into, but
Yeah.
my thing is give your best impression, because that's what we're doing.
Breast.
Yeah, your best.
Your breast. Yeah. I'll get y'all breast impressions.
Because that's
Yeah.
what this is all about. Give your best impression of who you truly are,
Right.
not a facade.
Not a facade.
Give
You
your-
have to give a facade.
Give me an idea of what it would be like to be with you. Because if I don't know, then it's just your bad. If
Yeah.
I'm gonna know 6 months later, because
Right.
I'm gonna be long gone.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I feel like for me, I think what I will say is people love my energy, and I feel like people go based off that. And people are ready to pursue me in the time frame where I'm not ready to pursue them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I'm not ready to pursue you because I see this, that, and that. And yes, we may grow towards it, but this is just not where I'm at right now to where I want to deal with that or where I want that. And I feel like everyone I'm dating, I try to tell them that. And I don't need them to do the most.
Right.
I don't need them to feel like they're in competition with anyone else. I don't need that because you guys are not. Like, I'm going to choose you from where I want to choose you from.
Right.
You don't have to be the best in that one. You don't have to be. Like, just focus on me.
Yeah.
Focus on you. Don't
Yeah.
focus on who is on the outside looking in, because honestly, that don't mean nothing. There are things, again, that I require now that I did not require past tense. And that is something that's big for me. So if you cannot accept that, or you cannot, I guess,
Equate to
just,
that.
yeah, like, then that's just something that, it's just something that we can't deal with.
Right.
And I don't want to say it's like a hit or miss, or what is it, a deal breaker, but it kind of is, because now if I'm deal breaking, I'm settling for what I'm not really want. And now I know what I want. And now I don't want to settle for that.
So
I don't want to settle for that. So either you're going to do what you need to do, or that's just something that you don't
do, and that's
and that's
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that to get me. You don't have to.
You're just not gonna get me.
You're just not gonna get me. You have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what
true.
you want.
That's facts.
I'm just not for all the. I'm not for the pushing. Like, what can I do to make you do this? What can I do to this?
I don't know.
Right now, I do know, but that's not where I want it to be. So I still have to make changes within myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even say that, and I can't even tell you because this little bit of it won't make me do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's more into that,
Mm-hmm.
and you know,
You have to do
That
it.
makes sense.
You have to do
But
it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Your lifestyle and the relationship style, it still doesn't make sense to me, right?
that's okay.
Because it's like you're gonna get the same thing from a woman that you would get from a man. But it's like, yeah, I mean, but if you find the right man who's able to provide you with the things that you're looking for, who has an emotional capacity, who's available emotionally, who's not sexual friendly, things like that, then you'd find somebody who would be the best of both worlds, right?
Right.
So, and my thing is that if I'm looking for something, I'm looking for something that's going to be totally different from what I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I don't want to look back at this because this right here is a sure thing. It was a thing where I used to thought that women were choosing to be with other women because women were more committed than men.
It's not that.
But they're not.
It's not. It's not that.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with women and men. I don't think it has anything to do with women. I want to be with a woman because I want to be with a woman, and I want to be with a woman for multiple different reasons outside of women and what they can provide. It has nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I want a woman. I want someone soft. I want someone.
You like tatas?
I like
it?
I like the whole
Yeah, me
thing
too.
of it. Right.
Me too.
So it's just like a man can't give me that. He can't give me that. Softness. He could shave his chest. He still cannot give me that softness. He's not wearing underwear. He's not wearing this. No perfume. The hair's not. You know what I'm saying? Like he could do all of that. Hold on. He can do all of that. Yes, in a set. But for what I want, that man is not giving to me because I want a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's nothing wrong with men. I feel like men are capable of everything that women can give on their own level. But I want a woman
To do all of those things.
yeah. And to take out the trash, and to wash the dishes, or we're just gonna have a maid. Because I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I don't think there's nothing against it.
Okay. Nah, I can understand that. I can get that. I can get that.
A gender thing.
But some of these women, they do this and they're totally, they like, man, I hate men, all this other shit. You get what I'm saying? But I think, what I think is mostly when they say that they hate men is because they've been cheated on or it's been infidelity in the relationship. And so they started dealing with women because they thought they were going to do something different. But just to find out that women are still
Yeah,
in
it's
the type of time.
playing field. Yeah.
That's the thing that I've never really understood. Because you find the right man, maybe he's going to be able to provide the things you're looking for. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So okay. Well, where we at? All right. So we're going to go ahead and believe that Chally, I believe that Shelly's going to be taking off. She got somewhere she got to go. But, you know, we still rocking it out. I know I ain't for sure. Let me see. Because we got a few other things. We're going to get into some on some things with this. So
And she like still on the mic. Still what? On the mic.
if you can. All right, so we will be right back, y'all. Give me a couple minutes. Let me get these videos and things together, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into this next segment. And we'll drop some comments in this section. Let us know. We're gonna address the comment section as well, and also answer any questions that you guys have. So we'll be right back. back, and Chally had to get going. So we're gonna get into this next thing. And I think what we're gonna be talking about, y'all, honestly, is another topic that I really came across that I really wanted to know more about and get opinions on. You know what I mean? Because I think it's very valid points that this young lady is making. I had another video. I think they might have pulled it or took it down. It was much more. It dived much deeper in explaining this particular stereotype that I think that we all have made a part of our normal households in society. So, and that's the stereotype of what do they call it? Sapphire.
Oh yeah.
The Sapphire stereotypes and things like that about black women. Now, let me say this, right? I believe, of course, that the black woman, of course, she's not God. And let me take a look real quick, because I haven't even seen anything yet from you guys. I'm gonna pop on. Okay. All right. So I believe that black women are not God, right? But they are some of the most powerful versions of women on in Earth, right, on this planet. And the reason why I say that is because black women can give birth to all cultures of women,
Right.
as opposed to any other culture of women can't give birth to a black woman or a black man. You know, if anything, it dilutes in quality, right? So the more melanin you got, the more potent you are in that particular strength of power. You know what I mean? So since women are capable of giving birth to all cultures, they're probably they are the most powerful version of a woman on this planet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Us black women.
And deserving of respect and honor, of course, and in that, but also the men. I believe that those women who are the most powerful women also need to show that level of respect and honor to the most powerful version of man on this planet, which is the black man. So, you know, but they are the culture of women who show the most disrespect towards them in their culture. You know, there is no real other culture who shows disrespect to their own men.
Okay.
And it's obvious as to why I say it, because it's true. So, because you don't see a lot of things or hear about a lot of things coming from the Asian community. It's the disrespect of men. In fact, they're probably one of the highest levels of respect for men in that community of people.
Right.
And same thing with Hispanic. A Hispanic man could be somebody who can only get out there and stand over at Home Depot and wait on odd jobs while the wife is out working, busting ass, and the breadwinner, but she's fully submitted to the man in anything he needs to get done.
Right.
You know, as to where we're going to the black community, there's a spirit of our culture of if that man isn't pulling a certain level of weight, then he's not a man at all. You know what I'm saying? Even though he may be trying his hardest to make it to a certain point.
Right.
In fact, a black woman in that scenario could decimate the motivation and the encouragement for that man to want to be better just based on her attitude. Sure, he don't even want to provide for this woman because she's not in her rightful order. And it happens like that a lot to where man's just, he may not feel fulfilled.
He's discouraged.
Yeah, just based on the way he's being treated. He's not being treated like he is that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So I think that's the biggest thing, is that we gotta really take those things into account and have a better understanding. And of course, we're still gonna dive into more of the single mother aspect of it, but I really want to address this because it's important. You know what I mean? To bring awareness to.
I think it is important, but I also don't want the black man to be fooled or feel like it's one-sided, because I do feel like it's something that's universal. I don't believe that it's just the black woman that treats the black man this way. I feel like black men are discouraged by their own women and enter these other relationships with other women and find that they are still disrespected. They are still held to lesser value than they deserve to be held to. And I do believe that, you know, some men aren't deserving of that, But when you have a public example of who you're depicted to be, it kind of tarnishes the eyes of everyone. So even if you encounter a relationship with this Asian woman, she may very well respect you, but it doesn't mean her family will. It doesn't mean her family will hold you to that same respect. And same for white women, same for Hispanics, and everything. And then that would later trickle down into her, because those are the people who make her up. So when I hear black men say it's just the angry black female,
oh boy,
that's not correct. That's not correct at all. Because when you look at biracial relationships, most of them are most likely to end. They don't survive.
As far as you said, biracial relationships, meaning other cultures.
Yeah, black men with other.
They usually typically are successful, more successful.
Really?
They usually are.
But what are the numbers? Are they great? The percentages?
Better. Better.
Better.
Not like, not like, there's not a vast significant, like, it's not a vast difference.
Yeah.
But it does make a difference. They are better.
Okay.
Some of those women are already, especially when you take into account some women who've already been brought up in a culture of understanding and respect.
Yeah.
Because there's certain cultures of Asian people who may show you, like the women may show you a lack of honor based on your behavior, but are based on you not being a part of their culture. But a lot of them understand to still show you respect as a man.
Because you're a man.
Right. Not to try to argue with you, back and forth, yell at you, things like that.
Right.
They won't do that because that's not how they work.
So is that success based on a woman's perspective, or because the man
It's based on black women not wanting to stick around. It's based on black women choosing to give up too soon, or not trying to pour into anything, or put more of an effort into things. Now, women of other cultures, they're usually a little bit more willing to stick around and try to make it work. I'm not saying it is percentage based, so it's not like across the board. You got white women that's right next in line from black women as far as giving up on a marriage. You know what I'm saying? And then of course the Hispanic and the Asian communities, they understand how to stay. Whereas where those communities of people, mostly black women have been encouraged and motivated to be who they are. They have not been taught to be that. They've been encouraged, they've been motivated, and they've been brainwashed into it, so to speak, just based on society and what some of the what the world has given them to think.
Got you.
You know.
So I kind of have a question for you.
Okay.
So just personally, are you willing to stay within? Are you willing to stay committed to a person just because, spiritually and morally, it's right to stay there because you have that vow and that commitment, but you're not necessarily fulfilled in that space?
But you're not fulfilled in what way? Why are you not fulfilled?
Because he or she, well, I'm gonna say she. You may not speak every day. You may not. It's a roommate type of situation, but at the end of the day, you guys are still married. You guys are still bonded by.
So this is not based on like physical pain or people who are in danger or anything or infidelity.
No, not based on any of that. It's just based on I don't like the way this person. Yeah. So are you as an individual? I'm asking you, if you were with an Asian woman and at the end of the day she still respected you as a man, but you weren't necessarily happy within that relationship, but she understood that it doesn't matter if we're happy or not.
Okay.
We're still gonna stick together. Is that something that you're willing to commit to?
Of course. I think that, most men who or will the woman who has respect for him will stay with a woman even though he may not be 100% attracted to her? Even though he may not be 100% attracted to her or 100% happy. You're not in a marriage to be happy. You're in a marriage to do life. And that's about it. What comes with life? Right. Unhappiness. Yeah, unhappiness comes all the time. So we're not in the marriage to get into it to say, I'm going to be always happy continuously for decades and until I die. You're not. You're just an unrealistic expectation. So.
But what about that understanding?
Right. So
between the two of you.
Understanding each other.
Yeah.
Having an understanding between each other. I think that, you know, what level of understanding? Understanding what? That we're in this together?
Well, I guess that would be the woman committing for life regardless of how things are going. And then you in return committing. That's the highest understanding that you guys can have, right?
I mean, because if I'm not physically attracted to her and I'm not, you know, in love with the way she thinks and I'm not in love with certain things about her, but she respects me and honors me as a man, then of course, even if there's a lack of understanding in certain spots, as long as we're not fussing and fighting and arguing and I can find some peace with you, we're good. It is what it is. We're going to have unhappy patches. It is what it is. But like when it comes to that, she has to also understand a man and who he is. Let's say that I'm still me and I'm being honest about it. Yes, I care about you a lot. I love you. I'm married to you, but I also really care about her. I love her, and I'm possibly looking to bring her in as well. I mean, she has qualities that this one may lack.
That's if you enter into a polygyny type situation. What about a man that's monogamous? Do you feel like that relationship will last?
It's all too often that men decide to do that to themselves and stay with a woman who they're not attracted to physically, who cannot understand them and they can't understand each other, but they're married to one another. And that woman decides to divorce him and decides to leave him based on certain things that's probably not even associated with his problems. Right. And he tends to want to stay and want to make things work, especially if you got children with the woman. Right. He tends to want to stay. If we have a 72% of women who initiate divorces in society, then we have an issue with the woman who feels like she does not want to stay. So, and it's not about the man who wants to stay. Men understand the court system, you know what I mean, and knowing how to try to operate based on honor and integrity rather than based on trying to be forcing her to do what he wants her to do. You get what I'm saying? A woman feels as though she wants to wield the power of the system against a man, and that's typically why they're always the ones filing. Because a man wants to work it out civilly, not only for his sake, but the children's sake. Because let's be honest, men don't typically do well in court. So, and it's just based on gender. Okay? So, if you want some gender equality, let's start with the courtrooms. I don't see nobody screaming about that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't hear nobody screaming about having gender equality inside of the courtrooms, which, and you know what, they got channels out there who's on the man side and trying to get more of an equality there to where the men are able to do what they need to do and not be so, you know, screwed over. Right. But let's just see.
I support that, by the
way. Yeah, like more of an equality in the courtrooms, more than anything, because, yeah, so men tend to stay, women tend to leave. Women tend to file a divorce. Women tend to initiate everything. And a lot of them tend to regret it, you know, after they've done all of that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get into a couple things. You got anything you want to add to that?
I just had that question.
And so since we are on this particular topic here, right, I really want to gauge the thoughts on this. First, we're going to go into this video here, right? Let's go ahead. We're going to give y'all some good visuals. Let's get it. All right. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, that's not me right though. I'm right here. Let's go. Okay, so this is the one right here. This is I know you'd be like, oh, what you talking about? Look, this is what I'm talking about. This is but you a single mom. So
PO box, but are tired of wasting time and money driving to the post office? At iPostal One, we can help. With iPostal,
All facts, Sims hate to comment in all caps. Believe all women, nah, nigga, that's cap. I bet her baby mama is the.
Yeah, that's good.
Listen, he going in, right? You know, what you think about that song? Like, tell me what you think.
I'm kind of disappointed.
Why are you disappointed?
Because at the end of the day, it takes two people to make a baby. And, I mean, it's all shits and giggles, right? Like, yeah, that was funny.
It's not satire.
If I stumble across it, I may laugh, right? It was laughable. He got the diapers up to his chin.
It's your reality.
But it is my reality.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I never planned to be a single mother. So I can't relate to the women who are just letting men come in them and make them mothers. I was in a healthy relationship and we chose to have a baby together, have two kids together. So I can't really relate to that, but at the end of the day, it's kind of tough to see, again, a black male, because he's most likely talking to black women.
Well, yeah.
No, he is. Just because of the statistics. So when we say the black woman is so against black male, and I just feel like we're both against each other. And we both have our reasonings, right? We both have our reasons why, you know, I may not like you for this, and you may show love to these sort of women more than you show love to me.
Right.
And just speaking from a single black woman's perspective, I desire to be with a black man. At the end of the day.
So you love the black man?
I love the black man. I love the black man. I love you, black men, because for one, you are beautiful. We're one of a kind. And like Ryan mentioned, there's no one like us on this earth. We're the only ones that can produce all races of people.
But continue.
Second, there's a better understanding when we come together. And I just feel like we're ordained to be together because we just have a better understanding of how each other work. And if we really worked on our flaws together, we can create a beautiful understanding for people all around us and better examples. Because at the end of the day, the human race, we're there's a few leaders, but a lot of us are followers. So if your counterparts see this thriving black couple, look at Jay-Z and Beyonce. So many people want to be like Jay-Z and Beyonce. They ain't shit, according to you. But to so many people, they use them as a iconic
Let's not do Jay.
Okay,
it's just not. Let's use. How about we use? Let's use
Michelle and Barack.
No, not them either. Because you know, Denzel Washington and his wife.
Okay, but they're not in the public eye.
But
when you look,
and that's the reason why you don't hear nothing about his wife, right?
Exactly.
Because she too busy taking care of this black man.
Right.
You feel me? Like,
but scratch that. Let's use our grandmothers and grandfathers.
Yeah.
For example. Okay, let's take it back to our own personal families, and let's take it back to the root. When we look at that and we see that they worked in a time where everyone was against us. Everyone. Where these agendas stemmed from, right?
Yeah. They didn't.
The black male's perspective, you know, how he's perceived in the media and how black women are perceived in the media. Well, women weren't even perceived. Let's just get that out. So, I think we have a lot of work to do as a race of people.
What I want you to do is to tell black men out there the qualities that you love about them. Because black men, they need to hear that. They need to hear it coming from a black woman, not from any other culture of women, right? Mm-hmm. Melanated women. That's what's the qualities? What's the qualities you love about these melanated brothers out here?
Black men, I just want you to know that, for one, you're beautiful. You are strong, stronger than any other race. I want you to know that within you, you are innovative and people inspire to be you. That's why we have copycats and we create the trends, because it is you who inspire us as people as a whole. I want you to know that without you, a lot of things in this world probably wouldn't exist. And that's a huge, huge, huge shoe to fill. So don't ever feel like you're inadequate or feel like you can't reach that potential, even though your own counterpart has told you or showed you that you're not worthy. You are worthy because God is black.
That's right.
And that's it.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's all.
I like that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this thing real quick, and we're going to see what she got, what she talking about. Boom. Tell me your thoughts on this. All right, hold on, my sound.
Sapphire trope. The sapphire trope is a harmful needs to die. So what is the sapphire trope? The sapphire trope is a harmful trope or stereotype commonly found in literature, TV shows, and in film. It depicts black women as aggressive, loud, emasculating, portrays them as angry black women who are very quick to snap at people and devoid of any vulnerability and complexity in their emotions, just very quick, snappy. They're commonly depicted as very domineering, very confrontational, emasculating men, all of the men around them all the time. Loud and sassy and lacking any depth in their depiction or just in their character and their personality beyond just that stereotype. Like, that is it. Let's talk about the stereotype that needs to die. So what is
So what you think about that? Loud, quick, snappy. You know what I'm saying? Like, as
when this caricature, am I saying it right?
You got it. I think you are.
I'm a little tipsy, y'all.
That right there ain't in my Rolodex.
But when that stereotype was sprung about, I believe it was in the early 1800s, and that was current for. It was into media and in movies and in shows, and the black woman was portrayed as that because as a result of what we had been through, slavery, where you are angry, you're getting raped every day, you've been separated from your 3 children and your husband, so I feel like that was a degrading role that they portrayed, that they used to portray the black woman,
right?
For laughs, for shits and giggles, and I'm not gonna say that we haven't picked up on that and genetically picked up on those behaviors, because we probably have, just because of the traumas that we've been through as a people, but when it's in the media, you're easily persuaded. So I may see Tisha Campbell on Everybody Hates Chris as a mother, and I feel like, well, she got her kids in line, maybe I need to yell at them and tell Julius what to do a little bit more. And you're inspired by the things you see, right? So that gives you an idea of who this person may be. And I just wish it was a better representation of who we are as people on the day-to-day, because me, myself, I'm not an angry person. I don't necessarily like to snap and go off. I'm very, very slow to anger, but I will get my kids in line if I need to because of these stereotypes we have on us. Because so we can't afford to be out of line. We can't afford to be angry. We can't afford to be passionate. We're not allowed to have real emotions in public because then we're seen as aggressive. Right. Then we're seen as, irate and, oh, yeah, that's that black chick that always goes off. And that's actually pretty sad because a white woman or another woman can very much well be upset about a subject or a topic and show her true emotion. But the moment that a black woman or a black male, because look at police violence and all the killings and stuff like that, you can't even move in the presence of a white man before they shoot you down. So you have to really be calculated and humble yourself and feel nothing, do nothing in order to be equal with these. That's a stressful life to live.
So do you think that this all is a ploy or some sort of agenda to encourage women to be this way, just based on not only welfare, right? The welfare system that, they'll give you this if there's no man in the home. Mm-hmm. So it's been systematically designed to train a black woman to be this sort of Sapphire style woman. Mm-hmm. And then not only, systematically doing that through, benefits and privileges, but mm-hmm. also through media, through showing them that this is who they should be.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, because a weak mind can be convinced.
Right.
If just personally, if I wanted to go off of media alone, mm-hmm. my ex would be on child support and this, that, and the third. We'd be in courts and everything else right now. Okay. But that's just not my choice because I know within myself he's not capable of that. So either way, I'm not gonna
he's not capable of what?
Of being on child support.
Okay, like why?
Because he's not financially there.
Okay, so it's gonna be devastating for him financially.
It would be. And because this is somebody that I had a relationship with, I wouldn't, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to put him through that.
So why do you care?
Because he's another human being. And I would hope that he would have that same respect for me. Even though I know within me, he doesn't. It's just different for me. And I'm not going to allow him to take me away from who I am.
You know what you're saying, right? Because in the society, in the world that we're living in right now, they're saying that women are very self-centered, very self-focused, self-absorbed. Mm-hmm. And like one of the main reasons why a woman will go out and put a man on child support and use the system against him is just based on spite and mm-hmm. Bitterness. Mm-hmm. And so what you're saying is you're not bitter, and women out here making decisions of not putting them on just because they're a human being.
Well, I'm just talking about me. Okay. And I'm not thinking about him. I'm just thinking about how am I gonna sleep at night knowing that he gave his last, or he might be without food, just to do something that I'm capable of doing.
Okay.
I'm capable of taking care of my kids. If not, I would have suffered through that relationship. If that's what I was in it solely for, right. To take care of my children. And that's not why I left. I didn't leave because, oh yeah, he's providing, but I'm not getting what no. I left because I wasn't treated the way I wanted to. But I'm gonna do everything I can to take care of my children without him, and still receive the love and the care and the nurturing that I deserve as a woman. So, because this is someone I encountered and I've lived a major part of my life with, I don't feel like he's ready for that responsibility. And that's still me caring outside the relationship because it goes a long way. These are my kids' father. It's not a stranger. It's not someone that I just, had a relationship with and it ended. We have a tie. So if he's not good at the end of the day, whether he has the children or not, I'm not okay.
You got a big heart. That's a because my thing is this, right? Is that regardless, the system is going to do what it does, and I've seen it time after time to where it does not move in the family's favor. When it comes to things, if this man is constantly going in and out of jail due to child support, unpaid child support, how is he going to effectively be able to help you with anything at any point?
Exactly.
But also at the same time, a man who's not desiring to do anything for his children is also an issue. That is also a problem.
It is an issue.
That need to be rectified.
But you know what? No man can rectify the issue. That's his issue with God. Because that is his seed. That is his seed. So I can't punish him. It's not my fight. It's not my fight. God is gonna handle him in the ways he needs to be handled. And what I'm praying is that hopefully before anything like that happens, he'll come to his senses and realize that he needs to take care of his seed.
Yeah.
He needs to build a relationship with his seed. And that's really where I see it. Because it's my responsibility as a mother to make sure my children are okay. It doesn't matter what you're providing for me. Even if I was with you, I still need to make sure my children are okay. So that duty never leaves.
Yeah, it's still an obligation. So,
yeah.
I mean, and me personally, right? Because I have my son and my daughter. Of course, ex-wife. Bitter. Of course, wanted to come back. I wouldn't receive her. We're doing co-parenting just fine. We're doing, I'm picking them up. I'm driving 2 hours, 4 hours total. They're back. They're with me. When they're with me, they're great. They have a great time. They got their own space, their own room. You know what I mean? Everything they need, they have it. Bunch of toys, whatever from public. They good. And her, behind my back, going to the court. She's doing all these things while asking me, hey, are you going through the courts? I'm like, no, we good. I'm building this level of trust with you so we can be able to make sure the children have us both in your life and in their life. And see us actually getting along and see us actually being able to, still be cordial. But what you do is you're sneaky about it, you're conniving, you're not being totally honest, and you go behind my back and you start moving court. To not only try for alimony, but child support, which they denied you of all of that when you first tried, just based on me being in court and telling them that this is not going to happen, right? So they denied you the first time. The second time you choose, even though you've been around me, you've been at my house, you stayed at night, you've done all kinds of stuff, right? You know where I'm at. If you choose not to notify me, you choose not to tell me what's going on in court, and you go move court. And and then you do whatever you would like to do. Those type of women, I believe, create what they call
the stigma.
Yeah, as to what a woman, why she's using the system, how she's abusing the system against a man. Yeah. Because a man who truly loves his seed and his children will do what he needs to do for them without having to go through a court to force it. Right. Men don't think about, oh, I need help. Men think about, okay, what I need to do to get this shit done. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And, I definitely commend you for having a heart and desire not to make his life any difficult while he's trying to build whatever he's trying to build. I think it's very commendable, but also I believe that he should have a desire to do.
But I know that. I know that. And with that being said, I know that he isn't in a position, but I also know that, I hate to say this, I hope he never sees this, but I also know that he doesn't have that desire for his children.
As far as what, wanting to be in your life?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's not okay because I think about my children every day.
That's not okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with the court of law. It has nothing to do with the court of law. It's no money that's gonna make him want to have a relationship with his kids. So even if I did put the child support on him, he'll be providing this money, and still the relationship will be severed.
Okay.
And what matters to me is the relationship. So until he's ready to get on that type of time,
they're free to be able to do whatever because there's no course involved trying to tell him what to do. He's free to be able to make a decision to be a part of his children's life and be an impact on it, right? But he's just choosing not to.
Yeah.
And this type of men, I believe that the system is designed for them. I believe the system is designed for men who don't want to be fathers and don't want to step up to the plate.
Absolutely.
Not for men who's like longing to do so.
Absolutely.
Because me personally, I refuse to allow my children to be used as weapons against me.
Right.
To be able to try to control me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In any facet. So.
Can you make your screen full again?
Okay. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to get into here is a woman who's speaking about this exact thing and some of the consequences of what we're talking about right now. The father does not want to be present. You know what I'm saying? And or the mother pushing the father away using the court system. And any man who's gonna be a man, he's gonna be sure that, hey, if I gotta suffer a bit until I can be able to get the right stuff going, then I'm gonna suffer a bit before I can, go to court and fight this later. But you should always want to be in your children's life or long for or desire to be there for them because it's very important. You're a pivotal part of their life, and they're gonna grow up looking for you, having complications. You know what I'm saying? So step up to the plate. Don't do that to these children out here. You gotta be there. So this is the consequences of that, and we're gonna go ahead and look. I got a whole another. Let me skip that. Boom. Let's get to it.
Of course, there's language, so please be aware of that. I feel like I want to give up on my sons.
Crazy, big dirty, the one 14-year-old, he's rude and disrespectful. The boy told me I need to get a better job and make more money and I need to buy a better house. And I am a single mother of 5. These niggas don't do shit for my kids. I do everything for my kids. They won't clean. They won't do chores. Like, they won't walk the dog. They won't do nothing but play the fucking game. And I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of trying to tell them how to be a man because a woman can't teach a man how to be a man and they daddy say shit. And there's nobody fuck on my own because I knew who the fuck I was fucking. But damn, like, one, he ain't nowhere in his life. And the other one, I was fucking married and this bitch ass nigga cheated on me and then denied my child. Like, what the fuck? Bitch, what I do to you? With this man for 8 fucking years. The bitch ass nigga denied my child. I asked the DNA test. We was married. The court won't give it to us. Like, the other one, I knew him since middle school. I was with him for 2 years. And as soon as I told this bitch ass motherfucker I was pregnant after I told him cheating with the white bitch, this nigga just said fuck it and did. Never spent a fucking day with a child. Came back and checked on me to see who I was fucking. Think I'm mad at who I was fucking. Like, that's it. That's the only fucking time this nigga ever checked on me to see who I was fucking. And I'm tired because I don't know how to raise them and make them respectable, loving, caring men. Because I ain't have that example like my daddy's and shit, but I can't teach them how to be like my dad. You gonna end up like their daddies, and I'm trying so hard not to let them be like, I swear to God, I just want to send them to a group home. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna beat their ass and then I'm gonna go to jail, and then what? I don't know how to...
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah. You know what? I can relate to sis. I can relate to her. Because when you try to take things on just with you alone, it's really difficult. And I think that's where I am in space now, because it's just been a couple of years, a few years since I left that relationship. And just, knowing that, like I said, I have a son and a daughter, knowing what my son needs from a man, knowing what my daughter needs from a man, it's kind of difficult when you think about it.
Right.
But, I mean, that's just the reality. And I can't say that it was better for me to stay in that situation and be lied to repeatedly and mistreated in front of my children versus them missing out. I can't say that anyone is greater. I feel like they're both equal. Because if I stayed there, then they'll see an example of a man that they shouldn't be or they shouldn't be with. So you battle with that as a single mom. And at the end of the day, no one, until it's judgment day, you won't know what was right for you.
What was wrong.
Yeah. So, I just pray. I just pray that, I'm able to make up where they fall off, and I pray heavily for my kid's father. I pray for him every day because I want him to get it together. I want him to be that example, because it's one thing for another man to be the example, but when it's their father, it hits different.
It does. It does. And I think some of the main points that she was making in this video is that she didn't understand how to get them to step up to the plate and to be real men. All they want to do is sit around and play video games all day. Well, I mean, it takes a man to actually raise a man, raise a man. And that's what she made a point of. But it's like,
the harsh reality is, sis, you made a mistake.
Made a mistake.
Yeah.
But, we make these choices of removing the man out of the home, the ones who actually want to be there for their children and want to be a father just based on being happy. This is decisions that we made based on happiness. And then we choose as women, right? The women choose not only to, my own happiness, but they choose, I'm going to take the children too, because obviously you can put child support, you can do certain things like that to the man. My thing is that this is the results, because now when I'm hearing things about my son and him having anger issues and him having questions about where I'm at and what's going on, I literally raised my children. I literally was there for them from birth. Their mother didn't put in any real effort in pouring into them. Yeah. I had to force her to pay more attention and to do certain things. And even then, when she tried to do, when she was making efforts for that, it was not something that was like, she didn't have her heart in it.
Yeah.
It's almost as though she was very self-centered to the point where she only thought about herself and she didn't think about them and the quality of what she was doing for them.
So do you feel like that's how single mothers stem? That's what single mothers stem from? Self-centeredness?
Yes. Yeah, I think that women are very self-centered. I believe that a lot of them, not all of them, but the majority of them are very self-centered and self-focused, and they believe that happiness is what should be within a relationship. But like I said, you're going to have spans where you're not happy at all, when you're very upset with the person that you're with. And it's all about communication, boundaries, and willingness. Boundaries, and being able to understand when he may just need a little bit of extra, push, when if he's still, you see he's still out here doing the best and giving his all. But you see him slowing down a bit, give him a reminder. He needs that place to go to where after he's done with the world, he doesn't have to worry about you at home. You don't want to have to worry about whether or not you're going to have a meal made, you're going to make dinner, or you're going to take care of the children properly, or you're going to wake up on time, right, to be sure that they're fed and things like that. Well, everything's taken care of. You don't want to have to worry about you trying to train the children how to be adults because you don't want to be an adult, meaning they got to wake up and feed themselves. You get what I'm saying? He don't want to have to worry about anything. He wants you to take care of your business, so that way he can focus on what he got to do. He wants you to be able to be trustworthy. All of these things, right? Understanding how to set boundaries and respect his boundaries, and just to be honorable across the board. But I believe that women do not think about it on that level, especially the ones who just don't get up to actually care for their child. That's just a whole nother level of selfishness, because that's a child, and as a woman, you are like, that is something that's like
your ultimate connection.
Yeah, but people are automatically like, yeah, the mother is gonna be the one to be able to handle it. No, like if you don't even have that basic instinct as a mother to be able to do those things, those simple things, that's an issue.
Yeah.
That's an issue off bat, because you have a problem internally. And it could be the way you've been raised or whatever it may be. I don't know. But it's definitely an issue with personality and being selfish. You know, it might need some counseling. Who knows? But yeah, those are some of the things for sure. What do you think? Because I know that those couple videos there, it just kind of hit home a bit, because this is some of the things that we would be facing and would be having to see more of, based on decision making from people, from women who decide to leave, and especially when they decide to leave and use the system against them to keep them away from the children.
Yes, what do I think?
Yeah, for sure.
I know that it's easier to leave when you're not married or you're not committed in a certain space.
Right.
But I am gonna say that I did leave because I wasn't happy. And I feel like that's just as important as sticking in it when you're not happy, because women have a certain thing about us, right? And it's one thing not to be happy. I think I'm not gonna speak for all women, but for me, I get that I'm not gonna be on your best side every day, and you're not gonna be on my best side every day. Absolutely. I get that. Yeah. That's just reality, right? But it's a different thing when you see that this person has a character flaw, and nothing in this world is gonna change who they are at the core of them.
Right.
And for men too, they notice this in women. Like you said, when you notice women who just can't even think to get up and make their children a meal in the morning.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yes, it is crazy. But there's just a thing within people, and when you see the potential in someone, and you try to convince yourself of what could be, it's disappointing to yourself first, that they don't really fulfill that. But secondly, you just kind of feel like, how far can this go? And when you're raising children, examples, role models, influence, and what they see and hear is very important. I don't care what no one says. It's very important. So you may very much stay by your husband's side because that's the right thing to do, because you're in a 2-parent household and the children see a man there every day and they see a woman there every day. But that doesn't mean that that man or that woman is present within that home. So you might as well be separated. And I feel like it's better for the children to know more perspective or better perspective of how things could go, and have opinions of, okay, well, my mom and dad didn't work, but when I spent time with my dad, we did this, and I picked this up from my dad. And when I'm at home with my mom, we did this and that, and they gather their own understanding, because what you're built up on is full of life experiences. So that's negative and positive.
Right.
And with your own, mindset and your own influence, you're going to decide whether or not they're positive or negative, right? So you just can't listen, let me tell you, that man up there is in control of everything. So whether or not you can be in a 2-parent household and your mom stuck it out, your dad stuck it out, your mom wasn't shit, your dad wasn't shit, and they stuck together, and you still go out there and be a piece of shit as a man. You still go out there and live a promiscuous lifestyle as a woman. So we can't control the outcome, and that's just it. So I don't live life on those bases. I live life on what I think would be healthy for my children to see, and I'm gonna do everything.
Right.
Even if it means separating from a toxic relationship, or a toxic relationship with their father, toxic relationship with my mother, toxic relationship with my sister, whoever, with a job, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna show them that, listen, there's adversity, and you need adversity at the end of the day, because shit ain't gonna be always squeaky clean, and that's fine. But it's how you deal with it, and that's how you teach self-value, because you don't have to always stay there just because society says that's the norm. You don't have to. Or because you don't have to. And at the end of the day, only one person can judge you. And if when you get up there, at the end of the day, if you say that was wrong, then
that's your ass.
That's your ass.
That's your ass.
But you would never know until the end.
Until the end.
But I want to live a fulfilling life, and I want my children to live a fulfilling life. I don't want them to have to suffer through anything just because that's what they say is right, because that's written. We don't know what's right. We don't know what's right until we get up there with him. So
that's right.
It's all a mystery.
Yeah.
And you gotta go with what the spirit is telling you.
Yeah, you definitely do. You have to go with the spirit definitely telling you, with the Holy Spirit guiding you too. You gotta pay attention to a lot of these things. And these are some of the biggest issues in society now to this day. Is just being able to listen. A lot of people say, and this is what gets me, right, is that a lot of people say, if there was a God, how could he allow certain things happen to good people?
Yeah.
And I will tell you this, right, is that it was always a choice. It was always a choice, even for the good person who you believe is a good person, right? I don't believe that anybody's good but the Father, you know. But the person who you felt and admired, who some evil was placed upon them or came towards them in their life, and their life may have been taken. It was always for a reason. First of all, on one end of the spectrum, the man who did the evil, he had multiple opportunities that the Most High gave him. Now, we know we're talking about a guy who's not going to force you to do anything. He wants you to make a decision and choice. It's the reason why he gave you autonomy. It's the reason why he gave you these things. Is because he wants you to make a choice. We're talking about that. Now, before that man did anything evil to another person or individual, he gave that person multiple opportunities to choose the good path. And that person continued to choose an evil path.
Right.
But he put the choices in front of that person at all times and chastened them and did what he could to correct them in the way that he knows best. But if they keep choosing the same path, then there's nothing he can do but give them over to that device.
Of course.
Allow them to do it. Now, the good person, they don't heed the spirit possibly.
Yeah,
potentially. Right. They don't have discernment, or they may not be listening to the Holy Spirit telling them, hey, don't go that way. And they have not honed into that. And that could be possibly the reason why they found themselves in that situation.
Absolutely.
So it's all about listening and being in tune spiritually. Physically, spiritually, and then once you're in tune spiritually, the physical.
Right. And that's exactly why when I see these type of things online, I try not to resonate with it because everybody's path is different.
Right.
I know the reasons why I did what I did. And I want to say it was God's willing.
Right.
You know, I want to believe that within, because that's what I truly feel.
Okay.
Just because of who I am as a person now that I'm outside of that environment. So I just think as a people we have to be a lot smarter. We have to wake up and pay attention and really get close to Christ and know. And I'm not saying that I'm the closest, but at the end of the day, I feel like I've heard him speak to me.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not going to take it there tonight.
But your journey with him is increasing.
It is. Significantly because I am on a journey by myself, and I am an only child, so I do a lot for my family, and I don't think I could have gotten where I am without him. It's just so many times I've been on my wits' end, and it's just like a miracle.
Yeah, you got a way of doing things. It's best of plans. Best of plans.
Yeah, so when those things happen, and I'm at a space where when those things happen, then I realize, like, man, damn, it really is God. Like, it really is him. And that's kind of sad to say, because I should realize it in the times where I'm down to, but that's just another eye-opener to tell me, like, okay, you know, I need to have a little bit more gratitude.
Okay. You be more humble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he shows favor to the humble, but he resists the proud.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Well, you know, man, I really appreciate you guys joining us for today. I mean, we covered a slew of different topics, and you know that the reason why Warsheep Podcast exists and the reason why we're here is because we want to come from a place of what? Understanding, of shedding light on some of these topics, on some of these things, and understanding people and where they're at, right? It's possible we can plant a seed. It's possible we can talk to them and get them to realize certain things, and maybe they didn't see it from that perspective. You know, so it's always great. Just as Jesus did in his time, he talked to who? He talked to the people who were not the scribes and Pharisees. He talked to the people who were tax collectors, debt collectors, who were murderers, you know what I mean? Prostitutes. He talked to these people. These are the people he talked to. And then I guarantee you, conversations didn't take once. It might have taken twice. It might have took 3 times for them to listen to him and say, you know what, let me do something. Let me figure something else out. Let me do this, that, and the third. Which or to realize certain things about themselves that they wanted to change. So, not to say that they were forced to, because they weren't. They made their own conscious decision to make it, right? So what I'm saying is that even though that you're a Christian, or that you're a believer, that you're a Christ follower, that you're, Hebrew, that you, whoever you are, and you're following the Most High, don't mean that you can't take your time out to talk to people who don't believe the same things that you believe, right? And no one's telling you to go and go and worship with them and do things to fellowship with them, but to speak to them. That's how you become a fisher of men. Now, as I always like to say, light creates what? An understanding. Understanding creates love. Love creates patience. And patience creates unity. So let's be unified in the spirit, y'all. It's Malcolm X. And we will be hollering at y'all at the next live, man. I really appreciate y'all joining in and tuning in with us, all right? Peace and shalom. Any last words? Peace and shalom. Yeah.